Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go. And pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
You know what makes you feel really good about yourself? Doing something good for somebody else. If you'd like to do that today, go to jdrf.org. Join them in the fight against type 1 diabetes. jdrf.org. It's something good you can do for the world. jdrf.org.
A former Democratic National Committee member told Politico on Monday that he will become National Senior Advisor to the Draft Beto campaign. That sounds like a horrible beer, probably a Pilsner.
The Defenders with Stephen Airy, tonight at 9.
Mojo 50.
Mojo 50. Join or die. You're entering the marketplace of liberty. The Conservative Cartel starts right now. And now, here's your host, Matt Locke.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Hump Day, Wednesday. So glad you're along for the ride. It's MojoCon Week 2019. So all of you jackholes and jillholes out there that are traveling today and tomorrow, please be safe on the roads, in the air, wherever you may come in from. We can't wait to have you. We're getting things set up here in the Mojo 50 Freedom Dojo for all of our Jack and Jill holes. So we're looking forward to MojoCon 2019. Lots going on in the news today, yet again. Attorney General William Barr's up on Capitol Hill. He's talking to the Senate Judiciary Committee. And, of course, the left are peeing down their pants. Peeing down their legs. They're mad. Why did you use spying? Why would you use that word? Why would you paint us to be spying? It's funny. I watched it. They're at a recess now. Welcome into the Conservative Cartel. I'm Matt Locke, your host. So glad you're along for the ride this Wednesday, Hump Day, May 1st. Hard to believe we are into the 5th month of the year. Crazy how time flies when you're having fun. But glad you're along for the ride. You can find me over on Twitter at the Cartel Matt. That's also my Instagram handle. You can find me over at the MeWe's, MeWe.com, Matt Locke. You can go over to Facebook, The Conservative Cartel, and of course, Mojo 50 Radio. Or, I'm going to tell all of you right now, few of you did this, and it would be better for you if you all would do this. I know I get a lot of views over on Facebook. I hate Facebook. I don't go there anymore. If you've sent me a Facebook request as a friend, I don't look at them. I'm not accepting any more friends. I'm not doing anything on Facebook other than when I have to, and we do the live video over there. They're garbage. I'm done. They censor you. They shut you down. It's just crazy. So if you're over on Facebook, I'm talking to you Facebook people right now who are listening over there, who are watching the video. Head over to mojo50.com. We have an amazing video, Mojo 50 TV, so you can watch the show. We've got a chat roll. You can all talk. You can put your names in. We've got a community over there. Right now, Katrina's over there. Stones is over there. Sharon's over there. Steven's over there. Sherry, Lisa, Erica, William, Jack. Hi, guys. I mean, you guys can all talk. Nicole's there. Good morning. Get over there. If you are watching the live video on Facebook, leave. Facebook's a joke. It's going to be out of business. They're getting sued for $5 billion. I can't stand Zuckerberg. I mean, the guys, I just don't like it. So leave Facebook. I'm telling you now, leave Facebook. Go to mojo50.com. You can watch the live video. You can chat. It's everything you could want. And you can talk to me on Twitter. You can talk to me on MeWe. I'm over in the Mojo 50 chat room on MeWe, so I do that there. Good morning, jackholes. Getting closer to MojoCon 2019. Glad you're all along for the ride. Lots of stuff going on. I'm by the way, drinking some APR coffee, some Cartel Bold. I'm going to tell you, it's the best coffee that's ever touched these lips. I'm into pot number 2. I got in here a little bit early today. We're trying to set up, get tables set up, chairs, monitors for MojoCon. So I got in here a little bit early. I'm on pot number 2 of American Pride Roasters coffee. DM is not going to be here. He texted me this morning. He said, I've got coffee on the way. Please share it with all the jackholes and tell them that I love them. And then he said, hey, don't tell them all, but there's more coffee coming after they leave. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. If you want great coffee, first off, support a small business. DM is a small business owner. I mean, it's fantastic what he does. He sends you these individually wrapped pounds of coffee. It's the best coffee I've ever had. But go support a small business. That's what DM is. And he cares. He loves his country. You know, you got the Cartel Bold, Sexual Chocolate, the P-Hat Matt. You've got the Burr Hamilton. You've got the Calvin Coolidge. You've got the Mojo 50. You got the Doc Bacon Blast. I mean, there is a flavor for anybody who wants it. AmericanPrideRoasters.com, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. Do it now. Okay, so Venezuela's on fire. Good friend of mine, Matt Bentley, has written a book about Venezuela that is coming out. The coffee was just delivered, Ron. I just got the email. Our coffee from DM is here. Woohoo! The American Pride Roasters coffee's here. Matt Bentley is writing a book. Over on Twitter, you can go over there. Let me see if I can find him. Matthew Bentley, at Matthew Bentley, Betley. Rules of War comes out July 16th, but he talks about Venezuela. He says, he tweeted, and I'm going to give Matt some props here today because I'm actually in the process of setting up interviews with Brad Thor in June and with Jack Carr in July, and we're going to have Matt on as well. Emily Bessler Books, Atria Books, David Brown over there, love him. He gets me set up with all these guys. But Matt Bentley says if only someone had written a thriller that takes place in Venezuela this year that includes the Sebin, S-E-B-I-N, the Russians, the Venezuelan military, economic chaos, and a full cast of characters. Rules of War hits July 16th. That's Logan West. So you need to make sure that you put Matthew Bentley in your reading rotation. I have. Love all of his books. Oath of Honor, great book. But get out there, get it pre-ordered. Fantastic. But Venezuela on fire. Trump has put sanctions on Iran and their economy is collapsing. CNN, their viewership is in the tank. We're going to get into that this hour. Economic news. We've got Joe Biden, Frail Joe. I don't know what it is with the left. Do they drink a lot? Are they old? Joe, I don't know if you saw Joe's interview yesterday. He gave a speech out in Iowa. Slurring words, having a hard time with his thoughts. It's Nancy Pelosi 2.0. They're old. I mean, Joe's 78 years old. It's not like he's a young man. But 78's the new 40. If you listen to Leslie Marshall, 78's the new 40. Blue-collar women are gaining in wages and jobs. We're going to talk about Joe Biden. New York City. We're going to get into this probably hour 3. They've aborted more babies after 21 weeks than they've had people killed in the city. Think about that for a second. Craziness. I've got an article from Big League Politics about the sexual habits, the sexual pleasure response in infants. Kind of crazy. So lots of stuff to get to today. And I got a funny story at the back end of all of this that I brought up because it just involves funny stories of life. So we're going to get right after this. Venezuela. I spoke about this yesterday. We're going to continue to hit on this today because it's in the news. It's in the news. I keep getting, hold on here. I keep getting messages. Yes, Whiskey, I did get that Joe Biden song. I just haven't had time to do anything with it yet, so thank you very much. Whiskey's texting me. Got some interesting stuff going on in Venezuela. There is an open coup. So, if you didn't know, Venezuela is a socialistic dictator country. We haven't heard anybody from the left tweeting about it, which is amazing. But not really, because this is what the left wants to bring here. We know that the citizens of Venezuela do not have the right to keep and bear arms. So the government has all the guns. The government has all the tanks. The government's running over people. But the amazing thing about Venezuela right now is that the military backs the uprising. This Guaido fella, not Maduro. You know who is protecting Maduro? The Russians. Think about that for a second. We are in a proxy war. We're talking about going into Venezuela. I don't care one way or the other if we do. It's not. I don't think it's really our job, be honest. But you've got Russia down there funding Cuban soldiers to protect Maduro. Maduro, I was watching Fox News last night, Brett Baer. They had Secretary of State Mike Pompeo on, and Pompeo said, yeah, Maduro was about ready to get on a plane, and the Russians told him no. He was going to fly to Cuba and flee Venezuela. So now we've got Russia down in Central America. And why do you think Russia's there? Oil. And now what the left is so I want to make a few points as I go through this show today. The left will tell you that Trump is the mean orange man, that he is a white nationalist, that he wants to police the world. But we're not in Venezuela. We're not in Iran. He's wanting to pull out of Syria. We're now negotiating with Afghanistan to get out of that war. For someone who wants to go to war, he keeps getting out of all these wars. Or he pulls out all these wars. I mean, that's the amazing thing. The stories that you hear from the mainstream media aren't matching the actions. And what did I say yesterday? Actions speak louder than words. You can say I say a lot of things on the radio. Most of them are true, 99.5% of the time. Sometimes I throw in a little exaggeration in a personal story. I can't say I don't. But when I'm talking to you, that's the thing. Actions speak louder than words. You can say a lot of things. And I think Trump says a lot of things, especially via social media, via Twitter, via all the outlets that he's trying to get the information out to you. But in the end, the actions speak very loudly. And the actions are, we're not in war. Quite the opposite. So to say that, everybody was so worried about John Bolton. He's a neocon. Oh, he wants war. Oh, my God. He wants to blow up the world. Oh, the left was just crazy. Oh, we haven't blown up the world yet. Not yet, anyway. It's crazy. So Venezuela. As Venezuela plunged into a dramatic televised scene of chaos and violence on Tuesday, President Trump warned he would impose a full and complete embargo and sanctions on Cuba if the troops do not cease operations in the South American nation of Venezuela. So I'm going to catch you up. There are Cuban troops in Venezuela protecting acting President Nicolas Maduro. So I want you to think about that for what I just said to you. Venezuelan troops are not protecting their president. Cuban troops are. The Cubans are in with the Russians, Vladimir Putin. And of course, now let's talk about this because the left tells you that Trump is a stooge of Putin. He's a cockholster, remember? Well, he doesn't like Putin in Venezuela. What does that make him now? Is he still the puppet for Putin left? I mean, is he still in that vein? Because that's the thing you tried to tell us. Again. I mean, Trump's just a puppet of Putin, but yet he goes after Putin all the time. And here we are again. He's telling Cuba, who Cuba gets their money from Russia. It's a proxy deal here. And proxy is someone is in your stead. That's what proxy means. So Venezuela is fighting with the Cubans, but in reality, what's happening is U.S. and Russia are fighting with each other via Venezuela and Cuba. Get it? Proxy. National Security Advisor John Bolton alleged Tuesday that Cuban troops were keeping Maduro in power. He says, quote, "It's a very delicate moment." He added that all options remain on the table, including potentially a U.S. military intervention. The president wants to see a peaceful transfer of power. I'd rather not see our men and women go to Venezuela. Myself, that's just me. Once again, let these idiots fight. But now you've got Cuba. Now you've got Russia. You've got Trump's threat came hours after his administration resoundingly endorsed an ongoing Venezuelan opposition effort headed by Juan Guaido and Leopoldo Lopez to spark a military uprising against embattled President Nicolas Maduro. The Trump administration also worked to roll back Obama-era easing of Cold War sanctions on Cuba. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo told reporters Tuesday that Maduro had been on his way out of the country, bound for Cuba, but that Russia told him to remain. And we, the United States, has warned Russia to keep their nose out of it. But we've got our nose in it. Here's the libertarian in me. Let's all keep our noses out of it. I do agree what's happening. I mean, why are Cuban troops there? Cuban troops are now actively protecting Maduro, not Venezuelan troops. And guess what? The Venezuelan government de-armed the population. They have no guns. They have no way to fight against a tyrannical government. That's why I'll never give up my Second Amendment right. That's why you should head over to traguns.com. Tar River Arms, traguns.com. First of all, we're giving away an amazing Smith & Wesson Bodyguard 380 with an integrated laser sight. You can sign up to win that at mojo50.com. There's a link right on the page. Go do that first of all. But traguns.com, proud sponsor of the Conservative Cartel. They are America's first virtual online gun store. And they're amazing. They're absolutely amazing. You can go to traguns.com, Tango Romeo Alpha, and you can find any gun you want. I mean, I have been to the site many, many times. I've got my eye on an AR. They've got great pricing, great customer service. Kurt is veteran owned and operated. He put his own cell phone number right on the damn website. Best customer service I've ever heard. I get email after email after email. Kurt was so amazing over at TRA Guns. Bought a gun. He's got some specials going on over there. You need to check it out. He's got some soon-to-be gone guns, some hard-to-find guns, suppressors, sights. It's not just guns. Head over to traguns.com. Tell them the cartel sent you. You can buy it via the internet. You can pay via check. You can put it on layaway. You can consign a gun and sell it. Kurt has made buying and selling a gun very easy. And look at what's going on in Venezuela, guys. The government has taken the citizens' guns. They have no way to defend themselves. You need to defend yourself. Head over to traguns.com. traguns.com. Do it now. When the government says you don't need a firearm, you need to. Tell them the cartel sent you. So we're watching this thing play out in Venezuela. And it's about oil. Let's not beat around the bush. It's about oil. It's about money. It's about control. But the U.S. government said about 20,000 Cuban troops and agents have been working in Venezuela to prop up Maduro's government. And Zig, I don't know the answer. If Guaido is going to be more like Maduro, I don't know. When you're in these third world countries with these dictatorships, I have no idea. See, that's the problem with socialism. It never works. It only works until you run out of the people's money. That's it. Once you run out of money, it's chaos. And here's where we are. I mean, the people of Venezuela, they're starving. They're starving. They have no food, clean water. They've shut down social media. Oh, that's got to be a travesty. But in the end, it's on fire. Hell yes, Idiot 252. That's a fantastic looking rig right there. A BMG 50. Whew. Be a lot to. I don't really need a 50 caliber rifle. I mean, I don't need it. I'd like it. I really don't need a 50 cal yet. Maybe soon. I don't know. Could be considered a weapon of war. Oh my God. Don't you think those Venezuelans would like some weapons of war right now? I mean, they're getting ran over by tanks. It's the Tiananmen Square stuff like in China. You guys are probably not old enough to remember that. But this is crazy time. But we live in a really tumultuous world. We live in a time where, you know, we sit here and we talk about this. The left is out there screaming, socialism, socialism, socialism. You got to, you know, we're going to give you everything free. We're going to take care of you. We're going to do all this stuff. No, they're not. Socialism never takes care of you. It takes care of them. Zig says bullshit. Everyone needs a 50 cal. Yeah, I mean, I will not argue with that. I don't need a 50 cal. Ron, you don't need a 50 cal either. I mean, you take it. 50 caliber. So they're putting up gun porn on MeWe, and they put up a BMG 50 cal.
Ooh.
And I said, I made the mistake of saying I really don't need a 50 cal.
I
rifle.
don't need one, but I want one.
Well, sure. I take one. If any of you want to go to TRA Guns and buy me one and send it to the studio, I'm fine.
Have you ever shot one?
One time.
I've never shot one.
Oh, shit. Kicks like a damn mule.
Oh, I bet it does.
Oh, well, Jesus. The damn 50 cal bullets are 5 inches long. I mean, they're huge. It's a big gun. I mean, a normal 223 5.56 is 3 inches. 50 cals, boy, it's glorious. But anyway, we're getting all excited about gun porn on a Wednesday. TRAguns.com, by the way. Venezuela is a travesty. It's a humanitarian crisis. It really is. And the people of Venezuela, they're stuck. You know, they have no way to fight back other than rocks, sticks. Now, the Venezuelan military is behind Guaido. And it's amazing because Navy Admiral Craig Fowler, who is commander of the U.S. Southern Command, he testified before the Senate Armed Services Committee that Maduro, fearing for his own safety, has completely surrounded himself with the Cuban security. He says, I think it's a good sense of where the loyalty of the Venezuelan people are, that his immediate security force is made up of Cubans. Cubans, not cigars. I enjoy a Cuban cigar, but doesn't that tell you something? We always talk about it here in this country about if the government would tell the military to turn on us. I don't think they would. I don't think the military would. I don't think the police force would. I don't think that. I just don't think that would happen. I think you're seeing the same thing happen in Venezuela. And it's sad. In January, the White House announced billions of dollars in crippling new sanctions against Maduro and the country's state-owned oil monopoly, PDVSA. Less than a week after Trump first acknowledged Guaido as Venezuela's legitimate leader, the White House has long linked Venezuela's fortunes to Cuba. At a major foreign policy address earlier this year, Trump declared when Venezuela is free and Cuba is free and Nicaragua is free, this will become the first free hemisphere in all of human history. Think about that. Barack Obama got a Nobel Peace Prize for just being half black. Never did anything. But Trump, look what he's insinuating. Look what he's saying. If we can get rid of the socialistic countries in the northern hemisphere, we could be a completely free hemisphere in all of human history. Now, that's worth a Nobel Peace Prize. The left can't have this. And now, the amazing thing about all of this, what just absolutely is astonishing to watch, you don't see a Democrat, you don't see a liberal saying a word about Venezuela. Where are the reporters asking Bernie Sanders, asking old Joe Biden plugs where they stand on this Venezuela deal? Why are the hard questions not being asked? Because they're protecting the left. Protecting the left. Hey, a good guy stopped a bad guy with a gun out in San Diego at that synagogue. You notice that story's gone? That story is gone. It's Wednesday. It happened over the weekend. That story is gone. Why? Because the mainstream media can't use it for political purpose. Here we are. Venezuela can't be used for political purpose. So you are not seeing it being talked about in the media because it doesn't help any of the Democrat candidates. Now, can anybody tell me if we have a free press in this country anymore? There's no free press in this country. They're not covering the news. Venezuela is huge news. It is huge. This is the biggest news going. We're going to watch a country be toppled. This is huge geopolitical news. That's why I'm covering it. I'm not a big geopolitical guy. I stay more at home. But this is huge on a scale of what we haven't seen in quite some time. And it makes a big difference because it's right here in our backyard. I mean, it's in Central America. You know, we see all that stuff that happens over in the Middle East. We see all the crap with Iran and Iraq and all those goat herders over there beating the hell out of each other. But this is in our backyard. huge, huge, huge. It'll be interesting to see what comes of it. And it really is interesting, the silence we are hearing from the left about it. But I'll tell you where else I'm going here. Iran. So Trump has put on these sanctions on Iran that are just completely collapsing their economy. You don't hear about that either. Once again, it's not in the purview. It doesn't help the left, so you're not going to hear about it. But on the other side, we're going to talk about Iran's economy. We're going to talk about sanctions. We're going to talk about oil. We're going to talk about what Trump's doing. I mean, Trump is single-handedly taking the world down. Terrorists, sympathizers, everything else. You can't miss this, and the left isn't reporting on it. Don't go anywhere. Cartel, be right back.
I'm Mike Opelka for PureOpelka.com. Here's your 2-minute drill. Mika Brzezinski is once again on the ledge and about to jump off. Yesterday, she was defending Joe Biden's habit of grabbing people and hugging them and smelling their hair when she said this incredibly stupid thing.
The amount of time that was spent on Biden's hugs. This is a guy who has hugged 5 to 10 million people, and they love the fact that he's touchy and huggy, and they run to him.
10 million people running to Joe Biden to get a hug? That would be 31 people per hour, per day, 24 hours a day over his 36 years in politics. As crazy as that sounds, Mika actually went further and made a more ridiculous statement.
There's a woman who accuses him of smelling her hair. He's not interested in your hair. Okay? He was going on stage, and he took a deep breath before he went on stage, and you took it deeply personally.
Wait, Mika, did you just say Biden was sniffing hair? I mean, he was taking a deep breath before he went on stage?
He was going on stage, and he took a deep breath before he went on stage.
That remark is almost as ridiculous as what I said to my mother when she caught me at 12 with a Playboy magazine. I looked her in the eye and said, "Honest, Mom, we were just looking at their heads. Nothing else." Mika, what do you think?
This is completely ridiculous, and the rest of America thinks it's ridiculous, too.
And on that point, Mika, we agree. Testudo, my friend. Testudo.
Mike Opalka's 2-minute drill is powered by MojoWildRice.com. Their wild rice is a superfood, gluten, sodium, fat, and cholesterol-free, yet high in fiber, protein, zinc, phosphorus, and trace minerals. But you're going to love it because it's delicious. MojoWildRice.com. MojoWildRice.com.
This is the Conservative Cartel with Matt Locke.
Yes, it's Hump Day, Wednesday. Hope your week is going very well. We're covering the collapse of Venezuela, and we're going to head to Iran. But I've got a quick note. Just received a text message at the break. Jackhole Nation and everybody out there, Angry Beaver, we all know her, Beaver Liquor T-shirts and all that stuff. One of the Jackholes, her mother is in the hospital. They believe she had a stroke sometime in the last day or two. So if you could throw some prayers her way, it would be much appreciated. Whiskey just texted me and asked if that could be done, and of course it can. So everybody keep Angry Beaver and her mother in your thoughts. I know she's not going to be at MojoCon, but if you could do that for us, that would be absolutely fantastic. I know Angry Beaver just lost her dad, I believe, not long ago. So sad, but keep Angry Beaver's mother in your thoughts, please, and prayers if you are so inclined. But welcome back to the Conservative Cartel. I'm your host, Matt Locke. We are live, by the way, from the Mojo 50 Freedom Dojo, rocking and rolling on a Hump Day Wednesday. Lots going on in the news. I was sitting around in the studio watching the Barr testimony up on Capitol Hill. He's in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I was just amazed at everything around it. It's such a circus and so ridiculous and completely a waste of time. Mueller did a report, 22 months, 35 million. If Mueller wanted to put something in a report, he would have or should have. And now it's what if. What was Mueller and what a total, complete waste of taxpayer money and time. Tired of it. Guys, head over to thegunbox.com. Thegunbox.com. Proud new sponsor of the Conservative Cartel. Do you have a gun safe? Do you own guns? I know a lot of you do. Most of you do. You know, you're great Second Amendment warriors here on the Conservative Cartel audience, the Jackhole Nation, all of you out there who are listening. If you're like me, I put my sidearms in my gun safe, which is in my master bedroom closet. So to go get my firearm, if someone would break into my house, I normally have my firearm. I don't have kids in the house, so normally my firearm's on the counter. But when I put my firearm away, I put it in that gun safe in my master bedroom closet. So if I'm in the living room, I have to walk through my master bedroom, through my master bath, into the master bedroom closet, unlock the gun safe, because I don't keep it unlocked, and grab my firearm to run out and, defend my house, my home, or approach a suspect in my whatever. So you see the time there. Now, I don't have children, but you may. And if you have children, this is a fantastic way to keep your guns readily accessible, but locked up away from your children. It's called the Gun Box, thegunbox.com. He's got the Echo over there. They've got the 2.0, or they got the SK1 Tactical. And what it is a single handgun safe. And you can use it via RFID, which is either a card, a ring, something like that. Well, that will unlock the box. Everybody wants to unlock the box, don't they? Use your fingerprint. Can use a code. But what it does, it stores your box. Stores your box. Boy, I got box on the mind. It stores your gun in a safe that is not only aesthetically pleasing, they're good-looking safes. It's very practical. Kids can't get into it. They can't be hurt. But if someone breaks into your house, or if you need your firearm quickly, you can put that gun box on your countertop. You can have it on your buffet table. The SK1 could be, a stand in your living room for a tactical shotgun. That one has built-in Bluetooth wireless speakers. But it's an amazing, amazing product. Head over to thegunbox.com. If you use Mojo50, you will save 10% on any purchase over $159. Protect your children, protect your guns, protect your home. Thegunbox.com. Iran. Let's head to Iran. We talked about Venezuela in the first segment. Let's talk about Iran. You remember, Iran did pretty well under former President Barack Hussein Obama. We sent them pallets of cash for ransom, for hostages. Don't know how Obama got his hands on all that money, but he did. And now President Trump, he's getting pretty tough on Iran. He's getting pretty tough on Iran. White House National Security Advisor John Bolton was on Fox News Sunday, and he's telling Chris Wallace that Iran's economy is on the brink of collapse thanks to the Trump administration's sanctions, according to the International Monetary Fund, IMF. They control, they're a big money fund all across the world. Iran's economy is on the brink. What does Iran do? State sponsors of terror. When they don't have any money, how can they pay Hezbollah, Hamas? This is a great thing. This is a great story once again. You're not going to see it anywhere on the news. You're not going to see the mainstream media talk about any of this. The stuff that Trump is doing all over the world for safety is unbelievable. Iran is in a deep recession with inflation at roughly 40%, the organization said, marking the highest such level since 1980. Think about that for a second. Going back to 1980, who was in charge then? Yet another conservative, Ronald Reagan. Now, the crazy thing is, it works. We see the left knows. The mainstream media knows. And this is kind of a heavy show today. I didn't know which way this was going to turn, but I knew this first hour we had to get to because this stuff's important stuff. And it goes to show you that capitalism, free markets, nationalism, populism works. It works. It works. And we're watching it work currently. The crisis is testifying a chasm between President Hassan Rouhani's allies and those who oppose diplomatic exchanges with the U.S. government, the Financial Times noted. And Iran's problems are only expected to get worse. Once President Trump, here we go, another vice to put on Iran, he promised sanctions on the leading buyers of oil from Iran. Iran's economy is 90% oil. $90 oil. Let's look at the Saddle Tramp says, hey, while you're telling us how to rob you, give us your Social Security number. Well, Saddle Tramp, my gun is normally on the countertop, so I don't have kids running around. I'm just trying to help out all you gun box people that have kids that, you want to keep your weapons from getting in their hands. You wouldn't rob me, though, because you're a conservative. You're a good guy. You wouldn't rob me. So Trump has put sanctions on companies that are countries that are buying oil from Iran. Iran's economy is made up of about 90% oil revenue. They're done. Trump has declared the landmark 2015 agreement horrible of the Iranian deal that former President Barack Obama had us in, leaving the Iranian government flush with cash to fuel the conflict in the Middle East. See, that's what I was saying. Iran had no problems when Obama was in office. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing? Iran was prospering. Terrorism was flourishing. Do you think that was on purpose? You think that was being done on purpose? I do. Trump comes in and says, I would have loved, I'm going to tell you what I would have loved most. I would love to have a conversation with President Trump because there's so many questions I want to ask. The first question I would ask Donald Trump was, were you floored when you actually found out how bad it was? Because you have to think about this. I want you to put this into perspective for a minute. Donald Trump is elected the 45th president of the United States. He's a businessman. He's used to running a business. He's used to profit and margin and payroll and making sure that everything, the permits, all that stuff he has to do for a business, he's making sure that it gets done. He walks into the White House day one. They give him an assessment, and I'll bet the first words out of his mouth were, mother effer. You got to be kidding. Because our government's broke. Not just broke as in financially broke, but broke. Like in it doesn't work right. And I'm sure, coming from someone who runs a business and sees the 3 or 4 sets of books that the government runs, seeing the geopolitical situation all over the world and all of the threats, the assessments, and everything that you and I don't know about, I will guarantee you a cuss word probably came out of Trump's mouth. It wouldn't mine. I'd be like, son of a bitch. Who's been running this? Who's been running this piece of crap? I mean, this thing's broke. Go and take, and I'm sure the next question I would have for him is, how long did you think it was going to take you to turn it around or fix it? Because that's really what Trump's doing. He's fixing what he thinks is broke. And I'm going to get into hour 2 here talking about the economy. And I'm going to talk about old hair plugs Joe Biden. Jeff likes that sounder. I love it. I've been getting a lot of the jackholes on MeWe have been messaging me saying, we need to come up with sounders for O'Rourke. We need to come up with Indian sounders for Elizabeth Warren. We need sounders for them all. We started a trend. We are trendsetters here at Mojo 50. Trendsetters. But an hour or two, I'm going to get into some politics here at home. Because Biden is out in Iowa. And this guy is either sauced or has early on stage Alzheimer's. I don't know which, or both. It could be either or. Problem here is Trump, and like I was saying before, Trump is a fixer. He's a doer. Playboy bunnies and hot women and all that stuff, but he's a doer. If you think about what Trump does, he's a businessman. He knows business. He knows numbers. He knows bottom lines. He knows bottom ends. He knows ladies, hot ladies. But in the end, he is driven. He's results oriented. So when he walks into the White House day one and he sees all of this garbage, I'm telling you, I would love to sit down and have a conversation with Donald Trump. Because what's happening here, Iran was flush with cash under Obama. Iran has accused the U.S. of reneging on the nuclear deal, which we did, and it was a terrible deal, ushered in by Barack Hussein Obama, who had it in a skiff in the basement of the house where nobody could even go look at it or talk about it or take notes. It's how great it was. It was so good they had to hide it from the public. The Trump administration is seeking to further ramp up pressure on Iran by strangling the revenue that it gets from its oil exports. Makes a lot of sense. Like I said, the Iranian economy is pretty much based on oil revenue. The oil sanctions waivers were granted in part to give the countries that have been granted them more time to find alternative energy sources, but also to prevent a shock to the global oil markets for the sudden removal of the Iranian crude, because they do produce a good percentage of the oil that hits the market today. I don't know. It's probably 5 to 10% would be my guess. I don't know that as a fact. Sorry about that. But they produce oil. And we don't want to shock the market because that hurts everybody else. So Trump's been very methodical about this. And he's went to these countries who have been buying oil off Iran and said, we're going to give you some waivers. We're going to give you some time to go buy oil somewhere else. Go find it. And then we're going to shut Iran down because they are the leading state sponsor of terror. The Iranian government, not real happy. Quote, the enemy wants to drag us to the negotiating table through economic pressure, said General Qasem Soleimani, commander of the overseas arm of the hardline Revolutionary Guards, on Monday, according to the Financial Times. Any negotiation under the current circumstances will be mere surrender, and we will not undergo this humiliation. Chad says, you can find a sounder for O'Rourke that's La Cucaracha, played by the Irish Fiddles. La Cucaracha? We'll look. We'll get into the sounders. I've got no time. Did I say that right?
La Cucaracha.
Yeah, there it is. We need a sound. Well, all right. Ron's on it. Need a sounder for Beto. Sounder for Francis. We'll get to it. I'm going to have all kinds of sounders when this all hits up. But we got 19 months of idiocy coming. So Iran finds this not good, which is then good. I mean, it's pretty easy. Iran doesn't like it. It must be good. But we have a rogue dictatorship over in Iran that is a state sponsor of terror. Hamas, Hezbollah, the Palestinians, Gaza Strip, over in Israel. I mean, they are Israel's biggest nemesis. This is going to help Israel. This is going to help us. It's going to help the world. But all these goat herders over there, they're all fighting over religion. So we've got big things happening all over the world. And the amazing thing about all of this, you know what they're all talking about today? William Barr on Capitol Hill. They're talking about a Mueller report that's already done. I mean, Mueller did his report. He took 22 months. He spent $35 million of our money. And he came up with a decision that Trump did not collude with Russia. So if you didn't collude with Russia, you can't obstruct a crime that never happened. So what the left is trying to sell you. The left is trying to tell you that Donald Trump obstructed with an investigation that had no underlying crime. Mueller said as much. There was no collusion by the Trump campaign, by the Trump team, by Trump himself, by anybody in the family. I mean, he came out and said it. So if he didn't collude with Russia, how does he obstruct a investigation that has no underlying crime? And I go right back to this whole thing that's going on in Venezuela. Putin's in there playing politics. We are actively against Putin. But yet the left says that Trump is in cahoots with Putin. How can that be? I mean, how would you explain that to me? How would you rationally say that Trump is in the pocket of Putin when he outright disagrees with Putin? Ukraine, Venezuela, Cuba. I mean, the list is long and distinguished. And now Iran. Because we know the Middle East has been on fire since the Ottoman Empire. These people have been fighting each other over religion for centuries, over land. And I always get a big kick out of that too when people say, I saw an article out of Maine the other day. Would have been, I think, Monday. They are canceling Columbus Day in Maine for Indigenous People Day. Rewriting history. Why are they doing that? Because they're liberals. They want to rewrite history. But I was dumbfounded by this because the left is never going to give you the truth. Dinesh D'Souza, I pulled a screenshot yesterday. I'm looking at my Twitter account here over at the Cartel Matt. On Twitter yesterday, D'Souza says, dead silence from at AOC and other socialists about Venezuela. What? No lectures about how they need to start recycling? No praise for the gun confiscation policy of the Maduro regime? No calls to crush the counter-revolutionaries? This is the left. This is the left. Here's this story. I just found it on Twitter. I knew I had it. It was a Fox News story. Maine governor signs bill changing Columbus Day to Indigenous People Day. Did the Indians find the New World in 1492? It's so amazing I don't care what side of the spectrum you're on, history's history. It happened the way it happened. You don't get to go back and change it. And why is Columbus Day offensive? Who's it offensive to? Indigenous people? Nobody, I can tell you right now, nobody alive today was alive then. That was 1492. It is 2019. That's like 500 years ago. Come on. I mean, give me a break. The governor of Maine on Friday signed a bill into law that makes Columbus Day known as Indigenous Peoples Day. The name change came during a signing ceremony where Democratic Governor Janet Mills was surrounded by state lawmakers and tribal leaders, according to a news release from her office. The bill was dubbed LD, Larry David, 179, an act to change the name of Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. That's pretty creative. Quote, our history is by no means perfect, but it's history. But for too long, it has been written and presented in a way that fails to acknowledge our shortcomings. History isn't written any freaking way. I want to say the F word, because history's history. It isn't written any specific way. It's written as fact of history. Just because you don't like the history doesn't mean you get to change it. Getting worked up. I said I wasn't going to get worked up today, but I'm getting worked up. I'm starting to sweat. History is history. You don't get to change history. You don't get to rewrite history. You don't get to make up your history. It's history. It happened. Just like the Civil War happened, just like the Revolutionary War happened, just like Prohibition. You don't get to change history. But the left wants to. The power in a name and in who we choose to honor. So now the power's in your name. Matlock. Stupid. Today we take another step in the healing of the divisions of the past, in fostering inclusiveness, in telling a fuller, deeper history, and in bringing the state of Maine's tribal communities together to build a future shaped by mutual trust. I want to throw up. A bunch of liberal nonsense. Garbage. Oh, well, I feel so much better. Now it's indigenous people get so good about us. I'm crying. Oh, God, I need a puppy. It's a coloring books. Seriously? God. This is why I drink, Ron. Right here is why I drink. People are, I'm beginning to not like people. I'm beginning to not like people. It's the left has lost their marbles. They have lost their marbles. It's no longer about facts. Facts are just roadblocks in the way of a good narrative, of a way to bamboozle you, to fool you, to pull a fast one over. I mean, if I'm a Democrat today, I don't know how I could vote for any of them. How do you vote for any of these jokers? I mean, there isn't a single shred of dignity, of respect, of any kind of responsibility. I'm trying to find this article. I have an article in here. Yeah, right here. I find it funny because we're watching all of this stuff. And of course, the left's on social media. I told you about Dinesh D'Souza. I'm telling you about Indigenous Day. You know, the left is trying to change the narrative, and they use social media very much. Well, Ocasio-Cortez was all over the Christchurch, New Zealand shooting when, you know, a white nationalist went in and killed all these Muslims. And tragedy. Let's not mince words. It's tragic. I don't want to see anybody die because of ridiculous violence. I don't. But we see the bombings in Sri Lanka, the suicide bombings by Muslims against Easter worshipers, or what we like to call Christians, silence. So Kellyanne Conway was on Sean Hannity Monday night this week. She says, where was Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez on the Sri Lanka bombings? She was all over the Muslims being shot in New Zealand, which she should have been. But where was she for the Christians murdered by suicide bombing? She says, I usually leave AOC alone, and for all these other freshmen like Ilhan Omar to leave, because basically when they speak, they're morons. She said it was a gift, but she meant morons. I just used that word. She said it's a gift to the conservative and the Republican Party. Now, Conway said, she told Hannity that while she is pressed consistently on everything President Trump said, the left looks at AOC, I mean, as a cult figure. She's treated as a hero. She says, but I really had to call her out because I'm on these shows. I'm asked constantly, why didn't Trump say this? Why did he use this word? Where's the semicolon in this tweet? Where I believe it should be. And then I say, hey, does anybody ask her what she means? Where she's at? Where is she doing? I mean, she didn't say a word. And not that she had to. I mean, don't take me the wrong way. It's not that AOC had to come out and say anything. But she didn't have to say anything about the Christchurch either. She didn't have to say anything about the Muslims being shot either, but they do. And then where was she? It was amazing. So Christchurch happens. These people get killed. Sri Lanka happens. People get killed. And then the synagogue happens. And it's so let's look at this. Christchurch, the Muslims get killed. AOC's all over it. Sri Lanka, it's Christians, crickets. But yet the synagogue in San Diego was a white nationalist who goes after Jews. Enter AOC. It's telling. You know, your actions speak louder than words. So Kellyanne Conway's completely correct. But here's the thing about all of this. AOC says, I was in Puerto Rico visiting my grandmother. I didn't have social media access. Wrong. Because on the same day, one Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of the shooting or the bombing that happened in Sri Lanka, she went to Twitter and then promoted a Netflix original coming out. So you had time to go to social media to promote something you were in, but you didn't have time to grieve with Christians. Hypocrisy, meet AOC. This is the left, though. We can't expect them to be upstanding. We can't expect them to be honest. We can't expect them not to be hypocrites, because they are. And in hour two, I'm going to dive into some things in hour two, because we have amazing news out today. Hiring up again in April. We've got wages up. We got taxes down. We have got an economy that is about ready to go straight to the moon. And the liberal left has nothing to run on. We're going to talk about that in hour two. You're going to want to stick around. The Conservative Cartel rolls on. Hump Day this Wednesday. Don't go anywhere.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. Mojo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Before the Senate Judiciary Committee, Attorney General William Barr is defending his handling of the special counsel Robert Mueller Russia report. Amid new revelations that Mueller expressed frustration to Barr about how the Attorney General was portraying the investigation's findings. Barr reiterated his conclusion from the Mueller report about whether President Trump committed any obstruction of justice during the probe.
We concluded that the evidence developed during the special counsel's investigation was not sufficient to establish that the president committed an obstruction of justice offense.
It's Barr's first appearance on Capitol Hill since releasing a redacted version of the report. White House National Security Advisor John Bolton says it's not only the United States that supports Venezuela's opposition leader and his call for democracy.
The propagandists and the international left would love people to believe that this is Yankee imperialism alive again. This is the people of Latin America saying we want the people of Venezuela to have the same freedom we do.
Bolton was interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. Also at townhall.com, U.S. construction spending dropping in March for the first time in 4 months, while spending on U.S. home construction fell to its lowest level in more than 2 years.
The Commerce Department says construction spending fell 0.9% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of $1.28 trillion after increasing 0.7% in both January and February. Residential construction spending skidded 1.8% to a seasonally adjusted annual rate of $500.9 billion. Public construction dropped 1.3% to $320.7 billion in March.
Correspondent Jeremy House. Economists expecting the Federal Reserve to say it has no plans to increase its key interest rates anytime soon. Fed Chairman Jerome Powell will be holding a news conference that's scheduled for this afternoon. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out neverforgottenapparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Hi, it's Doc Thompson for Matthew 25 Ministries. Matthew 25 Ministries is one of the few charities I'll actually endorse because I know them. I've worked with them, and I know almost all of the money that you donate goes to help people. Go to m25m.org, m25m.org.
Ladies, some of you sickos willingly accept that with the big doe eyes that you don't even need from a Snapchat filter and just look up at R. Kelly and say, give me your best.
The Rancevizzo. United 7. Mojo 50.
Wow. Hey, guys, Ron Phillips from the Conservative Cartel. I want to tell you about a new weight loss product that's quickly becoming part of our Mojo 50 family. Okay, so it was launched by this Texas company who have taken the good stuff in olive oil and created a patented product that helps people control their appetite and lose weight. That's right. It's also a big help to keep the weight off. In a 6-year study of former contestants from The Biggest Loser, you remember that show? It showed that when you lose weight, your body actually thinks something bad has happened and it fights back by slowing your metabolism and boosting your appetite. Rid-U-Zone, that's R-I-D-U Zone, contains a patented ingredient that has been shown to boost metabolism and reduce appetite while helping you burn fat. If you are struggling every day with cravings, try Rid-U-Zone. It makes it so much easier to control your appetite and not think about food all day. That's my problem. For a short time, we have a 30% off deal for our show. Just go to riduzone.com and enter code MATT. That's M-A-T-T. Again, that's riduzone.com. R-I-D-U-Z-O-N-E.com. Rid-U-Zone.
We're kind of like Grindr for Mojo Sexuals. Mojo 50.
You're entering the marketplace of liberty. The Conservative Cartel starts right now. And now, here's your host, Matt Locke.
I almost spit my coffee out at the break. I'm looking on Twitter at the Cartel Matt, by the way. Toby says, I suppose there are many options for Mayor Pete Buttigieg Sounders. It's raining men, we are family, and YMCA. That's hilarious. That's fun. Ron, we need a Pete Buttigieg. Jeremy Hansen calls him Buttigieg. Buttigieg, Buttigieg, Buttigieg. Toby, my friend, that is good stuff. Thank you so much. I laughed pretty hard at that because that is spectacularly funny. This segment brought to you by riduzone.com, riduzone.com. You want to lose some weight? You want to get healthy. You want to drop those hard-to-lose pounds. riduzone.com, riduzone.com. I can tell you from firsthand experience it works. It absolutely works. It's got this metabolite in it called OEA. It's a real long word. It's found in olive oil. It's found in the human body. And as you get older, it stops working as much. So your body needs to have it. It helps you suppress some hunger, helps you feel full, but it also helps ramp up your metabolism, which helps you lose weight. You want to eat less. I've been exercising more. I've dropped 16 pounds. I actually jumped on the scale this morning because you're only supposed to take Rid-U-Zone for 90 days. I need to read the label. I did not. Thank you to those of you out there that told me that. I took it for, I would say, probably 110 days, so not terrible. But I lost 16 pounds. I feel great. I stepped on the scales this morning. I'm 259. So I've stayed. I've kept that weight off, which is absolutely amazing. I need to lose. I would really like to lose about another 15 to 20 pounds. I'm going to give it a little bit of time. Get back onto Rid-U-Zone, but you can lose weight too. Here's how you do it. Head over to riduzone.com, riduzone.com. Use Mojo50. You'll get 30% off a 3-month supply today. Do it now. It works. Riduzone.com. Hour 2. Lots to talk about here in hour 2. Getting jiggy with it. Yes. Thank you. Rough roads ahead. I've said this on several cartels. We're watching the left, the Democratic Party. They're putting their people together. They're going to run. They're getting their primary together. There's 20 of them. The over-under was 24. So we're getting very close to that number. But there's 20 Democrat politicians vying to be the Democratic nominee for president. Now, as you and I both know, there's probably about 5 or 6 of them that have a real chance. Bernie Sanders, I would say Kamala Harris is in there, Biden, of course, Buttigieg, whatever you want to call him. He's pretty high up on there. And then maybe Francis. And you notice I didn't say Elizabeth Warren, Klobuchar, any of them, because they don't have a chance in hell. I mean, I don't think the only woman I think that has any chance of winning the Democrat nominee would be Kamala Harris, maybe. And now that Plugs is in there, it may be over for her. But they all have to run against the Trump economy. And as much as the left tells you the economy sucks, it doesn't. As much as the left wants you to believe that the tax reform hurt people, it didn't. Once again, these actions are way louder than words. But I want you to listen. This was what was amazing to me. This is the front runner, Joe Biden. Yesterday in Iowa, I want you to listen. I'm gonna turn this on here. Let me make sure I got everything turned on here. Got my volume up. Got the host on. I want you to listen to Joe Biden here. This is the front runner for the Democrat Party. Here we go.
I want to thank Rich Fitzgerald, the county executive, Allegheny County executive, for being here. And all my time in public life, from since I've gotten involved, the country wasn't built by Wall Street bankers, CEOs, and hedge fund managers.
What?
If the enterprise hit hard times, everybody took a hit. Union workers, the UAW took incredible cuts in their future and their pensions and the less to get GM working. They also got that last year and try to cut wages or freeze wages for their people. Like today, the same is happening in big hospital systems. I think we have to rethink how we define what constitutes a successful economy. Folks in America don't think their children are going to have the same standard of living they had.
What?
How can a person, dignity be maintained? Why they do that? It means investing much more in medical research to conquer devastating diseases like cancer and addiction and Alzheimer's. So God bless you all, and may God protect our troops. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you.
Now, was the dude drunk? I mean, when I'm drinking, sometimes I have a hard time with words. I'll say things, I'll make them up, kind of funny. I'm that teddy bear guy. I get drunk and then I get lovey, huggy. You know, I'm a happy drunk. And sometimes I start saying words that really aren't words. I know words are hard. I get on the show every day. Sometimes I say the wrong word. But this dude was either drunk or there is something majorly wrong. I was listening to that yesterday. And the only picture that kept coming into my mind was Nancy Pelosi. Now, what do Nancy Pelosi and Plugs Biden have in common? They're old. Nancy Pelosi is the biggest slur of words, and I think she's drunk half the time. I mean, I think these guys are sauced half the time. But here's a dude that can't put 3 sentences together. And he's at that creepy stage now. You know, Leslie Marshall, I had this article the other day. Leslie Marshall explained to us that, 78's the new 40. What's the new 40? What's 40? The new 25? Am I 25 now? I mean, I think it's pretty funny. 78 is not the new 40. 78 is old. I mean, the life expectancy of a man in the United States is about 82 years of age. Biden might be lucky if he gets through his first term. Odds are he's going to die. Same thing with Bernie Sanders. I don't say this to be morbid. I don't say this to hoping that he dies, but they've lived a long life, a long, prosperous life in government where they've ripped you off your entire life. They've made money. I mean, Bernie Sanders is a millionaire. Got 3 homes, cars, lake house. Made $1 million. I mean, guy's got money. Joe Biden's got all kinds of money. They've lived long lives. I don't wish them to die. Problem is, the average lifespan of a male in this country is 82. The odds are they're going to die. And guess what? There's 2 things in this life that you can't get away from. 1 is taxes. 2 is death. None of us are going to get off this ride. None of us. We're all going to die. Sucks. But this body is going to stop working eventually for whatever reason. If it's hit by a train, the heart stops, stroke, with Angry Beaver's mom. Hopefully you have her in your prayers. I don't want her to die. But eventually we all don't make this ride ends. And now we're contemplating on the left hiring a fella that's 78, going to be 79 years old. Now, he's either got early onset dementia or Parkinson's. I'm not a doctor. I shouldn't say this. Either he's got something wrong with him or he was drunk. How else can you, he couldn't, you see the whole, sound like his dentures were falling out. And Pelosi is the same damn way. And these are the folks that the left's putting up and championing. They're championing. They're championing. See, speaking's tough. But I'm amazed at this because my whole process of this hour, you listen to what actually Biden said. You would think the world was coming to an end. You would think the economy sucked. You would think people wouldn't be making money. You would think people's taxes weren't lower. You would think we were living in, maybe Barack Obama's presidency. So how does Biden tell you? Let's go back to what Barack Obama had. Let me read you a story here. It came out this morning. This stuff just, the left cannot run against the Trump economy. U.S. businesses hired 275,000 people in April. U.S. companies in April added the most jobs in 9 months, a sign that hiring remains strong amid a solid economic growth. Payroll processor ADP said Wednesday that businesses hired 275,000 people, up from 151,000 in March. That's a much higher number than economists forecasted. Here we go. This drives you nuts. Does this not? This is like meteorologists, people. These meteorologists and these economists, they ought to go get jobs somewhere else. Because these economists, their only job, think about this. Your only job as an economist is to tell me what you think the economy, hence economist, is going to do. That's your job. You're an expert on the economy. But yet, you only said, they said there was going to be 180,000 jobs. There's 275,000. You missed by 95,000 jobs. You didn't miss by 9 or 900 or 9,000. You missed by 95,000 jobs. You should be fired. Are you an expert? Can you say that you're an expert? How can you be so wrong? And this is Democrat narrative. The Democrats need the economy to stink. They do. So they write these stories hoping and praying. I think they're all in these little rooms. They're like, oh, God, don't let the economy be good this month. Please don't let the economy be good this month. Please let the economy suck this month. Please let there be no jobs. Let people be pissed. Can you imagine being in that party? Can you imagine being a Democrat? You are praying. Well, they don't believe in God, most of them. So maybe they're not praying. They're hoping that the economy tanks. They're hoping that you don't do well. They're hoping that you struggle. They're hoping that you lose. Because when you lose, they win. Because what do they want to do? They need more government. They need more government. They don't need less. They need more. They need more control. They need more programs. They need to create more problems so they can create more government institutions to fix them. So they're all over there hoping that the economy tanks. They're telling you Trump's going to destroy the stock market. It's at record highs. We're watching all of this economic news come in, and it's completely contrary to what the left's telling you. The Dow Jones, 26,600. S&P, 29.45, all-time high. NASDAQ, all-time high. Your 401ks, your stocks, your bonds, everything that you have in your retirement funds and whatnot is doing really well. It's doing really well. You're doing really well. And that's really bad for the Democrat Party. So when you get these economists whose only job is to cover the economy, and they get them so wrong, you have to ask yourself, why? How? The economy expanded at a solid pace this year, despite fears last winter that the U.S.-China trade war, because tariffs, remember, slower global growth and higher interest rates would tip the economy into recession. And what do the Democrats want to do right now? This is telling. So the economy is roaring. 275,000 jobs in April. Wages are up. I'm going to get into all kinds of great economic stories here in this hour. What does the left want to do? They want an infrastructure package. They need infrastructure. Our roads and bridges are crumbling. They are. Our infrastructure sucks. We have all these gas taxes and the tax don't go to the roads. I mean, it's crazy to watch the government operate. But what does the left want to do in the infrastructure tax? They want to get rid of the tax reforms Trump put into place. They want to undo economic prosperity. They want to up the corporate tax rate. The greedy, evil 1%, the rich, oh my God, they're killing you. Hiring was driven partly by a big gain in construction. There were 49,000 new jobs added in that sector. Category that mostly includes hotels, restaurants gained 53,000. Professionals and business service, which mostly include high-paying jobs, such as architects and engineers, added 59,000. Quote, the economic soft patch at the start of the year has not materially impacted hiring, Mark Zandi, chief economist at Moody's, said. Still, Zandi said the ADP report may overstate the job market's strength. The ADP report is calculated by looking at the payroll data from ADP's business customers who employ about 24 million people. But Moody's then adds in other data, such as weekly applications for unemployment benefits, to tweak its numbers in an effort to match the government's job data that will be issued this Friday. Amazing. We're watching an economy that is growing, expanding. Amazing. I want you to think about this for a second. I have a story here. Blue-collar women gain wages, jobs amid Donald Trump's Hire American policy. The women are getting opportunities and pay raises because Trump has mostly blocked demands by businesses and Democrats for more cheap labor immigrants to fill the jobs that are now being taken by women. So women are being hired. They're making more money. They're getting ahead. But I thought the left was for women. Rough Roads Ahead says, Matt, if they're trying to kill me, they have a funny way of doing it. I was offered a promotion at my job. Good for you, dude. But see, that's the economy. That's what's great about it. It's expanding. The Democratic Party doesn't want that to happen. They don't want you to have a promotion. They want you to be miserable. But now, women are increasingly being drawn into blue-collar jobs because the pool of men willing to take those jobs is shrinking. Quote, that makes recruiting extremely difficult, one Gad Lebanon, chief economist at Conference Board, said. Adding that companies in blue-collar industries need to go beyond the typical pool of candidates. Women, in many cases, turn out to be one of those groups. The rise of women in majority male jobs reflects recent labor force trends. Women have been driving the comeback in working age labor force participation, while participation among men ages 25 to 54, along the stalwarts of blue-collar jobs, has lagged behind. You know why it's lagged behind? Because Democrats are trying to turn men into pussies. It's working. You're talking about Democrat men that won't go out and get their fingernails dirty. See how this all correlates? So the women are like, damn, got to go take care of myself. I better be a strong woman because you know what? My man, who's got a bigger vagina than I have, won't get his fingers dirty. This is what the left's trying to do to America. We see it all the time. They're trying to wussify America. They're trying to beta male America. Toxic masculinity. They're making it so men can't be men. And then they're wondering why all these women are taking these blue-collar jobs, because they've wussified their men. They've nutted their men. Their men can't be men. See how this works? The number of construction jobs held by women has climbed by 1/5, 20% since 2017. The number of women in transportation jobs has jumped by 1/3 from 2017 to 18. The article quotes one woman who raised her hourly salary by $8 an hour after quitting her job at a donut shop to become a welder. A housekeeper boosted her wages from 13 to 15 an hour by moving into construction. Good for them. I mean, equality. Democrats should be cheering. Yeah, most men, you're right. Kurt's tasty Jill hole. Most men haven't been raised by men. Boys are in a fatherless household. Once again, that ties right back to the Democrat Party. They've destroyed the family unit. So men are being raised by women. Women aren't men. God bless these mothers. God bless these women who are doing their share to raise their children, but they're not men. But there's nothing wrong with a woman doing manual labor or trades. What's wrong with that? Why? Trades just isn't a man's world. I mean, you can swing a hammer, run a skill saw. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Hell, I think it's kind of sexy. Have a woman out there in construction. Now, in my mind, they're not wearing blue jeans and flannel shirts. Saying. Nothing wrong with a woman out there getting their hands dirty. Nothing wrong. Should be proud of that. And if that's where the money is, and you can do that task, why wouldn't you? If that's what you wanted to do. See, that's the thing. Zig says, I think Brandon Morris worded it perfectly. He said the left sees boys as detective girls, so they medicate them to make them behave as well as girls. Now, Kurt's tasty Jill hole, I don't disagree. Women are not built like men. Thank you, Jesus. That women are not built like men. Women are soft, pretty. They smell good. So it would be harder on their bodies. I would get that. It would be harder. Might be bellworthy. But if that's what you want to do, why shouldn't you do it? You should be able. And if that's what makes you happy, if that's what you're good at, then by all means do it. It's amazing, though, because all of these jobs, these wages, they're up. They're up. Your economy is up. It's better. You're making money. You're putting money in the bank. You're going on vacation. And when you vote, what do you vote on? Your economy. You vote on your personal economy. It's amazing. You know what's rugged? Cat coolers. Meow. Head over to catcoolers.com. Meow, meow, meow. Get yourself a rugged, American-made, warranted for life cooler. It's a fantastic product. They look really good. They come in white. They come in yellow, black, camouflage, blue collar, but they're customizable. 100% customizable. You can put any logo, your high school, your college, your professional teams, the Conservative Cartel shield. If you want my face, the Mojo logo that I got on my shirt here today, anything you want. Head over to catcoolers.com. Meow. Use the code MOJO50, and you will get 10% off that cooler today. And I'm going to say something to you. They're not the least expensive thing you can buy, but you won't buy another one. And it's coming into summertime. It's coming into that season. You got to keep your beer cold. I mean, we have priorities here, folks. Keep your beer cold. We're not talking, you want to keep those beverages cold. If you're going to the softball game or golf outing or your children got activities or summer leagues or whatever you're doing, you want to keep your beer cold because you don't want to sit there all day in the hot sun. I know, especially here in Texas where it gets to be 100 degrees, you need something cold to put on your lips. Cat coolers. Meow. Will keep your beverages cold. Head over to catcoolers.com right now. Meow. Use Mojo50. You'll save 10% off today. Do it now because I told you to. You should. Plus, that's a great commercial. Who else meows at cat coolers? Meow. See? Harold just sent me a text. I know every time I've got the little machine here. Oh, Harold says, some of the best welders I know are women. Well, what do you know? They're probably more patient than men. I'm not a good welder. I know how to do it. I took shop class in high school. I've welded things before in my life. I've worked in a shop. I know how to do it. I'm not real good at it. But there's nothing better than working with your hands. Just saying. All right, so coming up, we got more good news. More good news. Manufacturing's up, and if you haven't heard, CNN's ratings are down. Is anybody surprised? Anybody? And as we sit here and we continue to talk about all this stuff, you would think the Democratic Party is in ascension. Well, it's actually in the shitter. We're going to talk about that and much more. Don't go anywhere. Cartel rolls on this Wednesday.
Take the pain out of ordering your diabetic testing supplies with Diathrive. Diathrive ships the testing supplies you need directly to you when you need them. Best of all, with plans starting as low as $8 a month, Diathrive is probably going to cost you less than what you're paying today. Diathrive is so convinced that you'll love their service, they're offering your first month of supplies free. Simply type the code DOC, D-O-C, at checkout. Diathrive.com. That's D-I-A, thrive.com.
Got an old car? You can donate it, whether it's running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation and save a life. They'll even come and pick it up for free. The United Breast Cancer Foundation has saved hundreds of women's lives through their free or low-cost breast screen exams. But now they need your help. The United Breast Cancer Foundation wants to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car, SUV, or truck, whether it's running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Help the United Breast Cancer Foundation save lives by donating your old car, SUV, or truck. Call now for free pickup. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. Call right now. That number again is 800-245-0823.
Where can a guy get a drink around here?
I don't know. Ask Mississippi. I'm just collecting tickets tonight.
Come on, Peachy. I'm not slinging drinks tonight. I got caboose duty because Rusty is tired of it.
I thought Rusty liked the caboose.
Rusty's taking it in the caboose.
No.
Give me a drink.
He's driving the train.
Come on, guys. Come on. Can we stay on track for 5 minutes?
Well, this is off track.
Yeah, you're right. If you want to get derailed, join us every Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Mojo 50.
Listening to the Conservative Cartel with Matt Locke.
So nowhere else in radio are you going to watch the host do a sales call at the break. I mean, if you're watching on video, I'm in here selling stuff. You know, this is what I do. I sell things. I talk about things. I promote things. I do a lot of things. I'm full of things. But welcome back to the Conservative Cartel. We're halfway through the program on this Hump Day, Wednesday. We got MojoCon 2019 that is kicking off tomorrow. Crazy. You guys are all coming into town. This could be crazy or weird or terrible or fantastic. I don't know which adjective we're going to put to it yet, but we're going to put one of them to it. But this segment brought to you by Minnestalgia, MojoWildRice.com. The edible memories of the Northwoods of Minnesota. Mother's Day coming up here May 12th. Got 11 days. Take care of your mama. But MojoWildRice.com. Well, I do drink too, Ruff, but I do that on my own time. Mother's Day is coming up May 12th. You need to head over to MojoWildRice.com, and you can get this fantastic Mother's Day package that is sitting in front of me on the mothership table that's got a soy candle, that's got maple syrup, that has wild rice pancake mix, whipped honey, and blueberry jam. What a fantastic package. That's what she said. Head over to mojowildrice.com. Use MOM, M-O-M-10. I shouldn't be talking about packages of MOM. Use MOM10, M-O-M-10, to get 10% off that package today. Or you can use MOM10 and get 10% off the entire website. Now, let me tell you a little bit about mojowildrice.com. It's fantastic. The wild rice, really good for you. Vitamins, minerals, gluten-free, tastes really good. And you can eat it with just about anything. We have it 2 or 3 times a week at my house. Have it with chicken. We have it with any kind of protein. I'm getting ready. I think what I'm going to do, and I've been saying this for the longest time, but I just have to get it done, is I'm going to make these. God, my phone won't stop ringing. I need to make breakfast bowls out of Mojo Wild Rice. Put some eggs in there, some bacon, some jalapeno, maybe a little sour cream. Make it into a little breakfast bowl and eat it in the morning. It's really good for you. It's healthy. It'd probably be a good breakfast. I'm not a big breakfast guy, but I need to start eating breakfast more. And I'm getting yelled at because I eat these Cliff bars and they're a lot of sugar and I guess and whatnot. But I'm at $2.59, so I've done really well. Head over to mojowildrice.com. Use MOM10. MOM10 will get you 10% off of the website today. You got to order that Mother's Day gift by May 5th. So you have 4 days. If you want to get your mom that nice gift package, mojowildrice.com. MOM10 will get you 10% off today. Do it now. Talking about the economy, talking about the Trump economy, talking about how magnificent it is to be an American today. Your wages are going up. Your taxes are going down. You're better off. Your economy's better. Your neighbor's better. You're enjoying it. You might get to go on vacation, which you didn't get to do for the 8 years Obama was president. You might be getting a promotion at work, like Rough Roads Ahead. I can tell you personally, I'm doing better under the Trump economy than I ever did under the Obama economy. These are tangible things. These are tangible items that you can see, feel, touch, and understand when you feel it, when you see it, when you experience it. God, this phone will not stop. Well, there you go. All right. Trump boom is the headline. Manufacturing wages see biggest gain in over a decade. So I want you to think about something for 1 second. President Barack Hussein Obama told us these manufacturing jobs were gone. They were just gone. They weren't coming back. No matter what you did, no matter who you talked to, no matter what happened, these manufacturing jobs were gone. Remember? Well, you would need a magic wand. You'd need a magic wand to get them back. And he's going to do wave his magic wand. Well, Donald Trump must have one kind of hell of a magic wand. Because the Employment Cost Index, a measure of wages and benefits paid by the businesses for manufacturing workers, rose by almost 1%, 0.9, in the first quarter. Labor Department data release showed the salary and wage component rose even more by a full 1 point. The last time, this is huge, the last time manufacturing saw quarterly wage gains that high was in 2008 when wages also rose about 1%. Now I want you to think about 2008 was Obama's first year. Compare this. I want you to think about 2008, what was happening, because we were getting ready to go into the recession. We had the big bailout bill for the banks. We were going the wrong way. So that number started cratering, and I'll get to that number in a minute. But compared with a year ago, manufacturing wages are up 3% in March. I want you to understand something. Most companies, year over year, for workers that are good employees, give their employees somewhere around a 2 to 4% raise every year. It's pretty standard. Can you imagine getting a 3% raise just because of the economy? I mean, 3% is a pretty big raise. It's a pretty good raise. That's the biggest 12-month gain since March of 2008. when wages rose by 3.2%. By Barack Obama's final year in office, manufacturing wages were rising at an average of just 0.625%, about 0.5%. Very low inflation means that unlike past gains in worker pay, these have not been eaten away by higher prices. Prices in March were up just 1.5% compared with year earlier levels, which makes the real wage gain about 1.5%. Back in March of 2003, the prices were up, it's about 2.5. So most of the paycheck growth went to higher prices. In March of 2008, the situation was even worse. 3.1% inflation meant workers were actually losing ground despite having growth in their paychecks. That was under Obama. There's another reason to think that the first quarter of 2019 may have been better than either 2003 and 2008. In both these periods, listen to this, unemployment in the manufacturing industry was very high. 6.8% unemployment in manufacturing in 2003. 5% in 2008. When unemployment is high or rising, lower paid workers with less tenure are often laid off before more experienced, higher paid workers. As a result, average wages in the employment cost index can climb even when the workers are losing their jobs. Now, here's the kicker of this story. Wages are up, employment is down. Unemployment, way down. In the manufacturing sector, it is just 2.9%. So there is no upward pressure being created by layoffs. In fact, it is quite the opposite. Manufacturing sector employees is expanding. The employment is expanding in manufacturing. Boy, that magic wand again. Boy, Trump must have a big magic wand. And it is likely that manufacturing businesses are hiring less experienced workers who can be paid less than incumbents. So once again, let's talk about the blue-collar wages that are going up. You got women entering the marketplace. Wages are going up. You got people who you don't need a living minimum wage because they're leaving lower minimum wages for higher wages in better paying jobs because what do companies need? Workers. So the very good numbers for the first quarter may be even better than they appear. During downturns, lower paid workers with lower tenure are likely to be laid off first, raising the average wages of the jobs. The revival of American manufacturing was a key campaign promise of one Donald Trump. Tuesday's data suggests Trump is making good on that promise. Think about that news. Think about where we were 10 years ago. 8 years ago, when you had Barack Obama out there telling you that these jobs were gone. They were gone. They weren't coming back. You were going to need a magic wand to get them back. Barack Obama didn't have a clue in how to create any jobs. Didn't have a clue how the economy worked. Didn't have a clue how economics works. The guy was a moron. We're starting to find out very quickly that Barack Obama knew very little. And on top of all that, he was politicizing the intelligence agencies to go after someone who was going to make him look bad. Because in all sense of the meaning, what has Donald Trump done? Why does the left hate him so much? I mean, you would think that, liberals would want America to do well. I mean, I want America to do well. I'm an American. I don't think that's a party affiliation where you want your country to do well. You want your kids to do well. You want your wife to do well. You want your significant other to do well. You want to do well. I mean, I don't think that's a political position at all. But look at what Donald Trump is doing. He is making Barack Obama look like a moron that he is. I think that's why the left is pissed. I think that's why the left is doing everything they can to sabotage or torpedo Donald Trump, because Trump's getting the job done. Their Messiah, their guy, their savior. He wasn't getting it done. Now I want to turn your attention to Joe Biden because that's all he has to run on. I just put the platform in front of you. All he has to run on is an Obama economy that sucked, and the president was a moron. But I want you to think about this. Biden, who turned 77 this year, will turn 78 before the next president is sworn in, stumbled over his words in Pittsburgh. I played you that clip. I mean, the guy looks terrible. He's got plastic surgery, so that's looking good. Those teeth are white, I'll tell you that. But he looks old. You know, and age really isn't a factor in politics. What people want, vitality. Virile. And that's why I think we're seeing right now people are gravitating toward male candidates. I think that's why the women are having a hard time on the Democrat side. You know, people want to vote for someone they like, who displays confidence, virility. They want someone who is impressive, passionate. They want to, you know, the amazing thing about all of this, they want an alpha. I mean, when you get right down to the root of what voters want, they want an alpha. Why do you think Donald Trump won? For all the grab him by the pussies and all of the stuff he said, people viewed him as an alpha. They viewed him as someone who would get the job done. Someone who would come in, take control, do the right things, and be successful. Because in the end, what are we as Americans? We're successful. We want to be winners. America is the last hope of freedom in the world. We want to be a winner. That was Donald Trump. So if we look at all of this, the Sal Loeb writes this in this article over at Breitbart. He says, the problem for Biden is not the number or his age. It is that he no longer is the Joe Biden that we remember. I mean, he's been in politics for 30, 40 years. Who was never all that impressive, who was never a good presidential candidate, but he was not this guy. He was not an old man past his prime looking to hold on when he needs to get out of the way. And the amazing thing is the left loves him. He's the savior because he's the one that looks the least crazy, even though he's a big creeper. The Me Too movement, I mean, I feel bad for the women on the left because the Me Too movement's going to get blown right out of the water. They don't care. And they're all saying it now. It was funny. I was listening to Fox last night, and they had this one guy on. I can never remember his name. He is a big douche nozzle. He thinks he's smarter than everybody else, and he throws out fancy, 10-cent words because he thinks he's smart. But he literally went on to Fox yesterday, and he says, Trump paved the way. We can have creepers and touchers and molesters and everything because obviously that's what America wants. They don't care that Joe Biden is a creeper. And I'm just listening to that, and I'm like, maybe he's right. Maybe he is right. Maybe we don't care. The left surely doesn't care. I'll tell you who doesn't care, the Democrats. The Democrats know that they're in trouble. The Democratic Party's in trouble. They know it. They'll be the first to tell you at a cocktail party among themselves. They're not going to go out and tell you in the media. I mean, they're gonna portray a united front, but they've got a huge chasm in the Democrat Party. I mean, it is a rift that is so crazy. I know that Brandon and Brad had an Ocasio-Cortez comic book in here this morning. It's funny to read that. If you get a chance, you should pick that up. It's crazy. But the left is in trouble. The left is absolutely in trouble. And they're fighting amongst themselves for control of their party, and they think that Biden is the savior. He's a tried and true old trusty Joe. You know, he's for the working man. It's not a dog whistle when he says it. I talked about that yesterday. Not a dog whistle when he uses it. The amazing thing is I want you to think back to like JFK, charismatic, man's man. He was building tunnels to bring in his hose. I mean, this guy was a alpha. He was a man, and he got elected. Now, a funny paragraph in this article. I want you to listen to this. He says, you can laugh all you want at Barry Obama's mom jeans and purple bike helmets, but as a candidate, he was no drama Obama. Calm, cool, steady, ready. The guy who kept his opponents on constant defense. He ran against a neurotic John McCain, who quit his campaign to save the economy, and a weakling, Mitt Romney, who allowed CNN's Candy Crowley to make a public ass out of him. Boy, is that spot on the money, is it not? And then there was Hillary Clinton. Despite the best effort of the media to cover her up, her health problems in 2016 were very real. So when we're looking, this whole article, which is amazing, is that, you know, we are looking for a leader. We are looking for a winner. We're looking for an alpha. We're looking for someone to come in and take control, to guide us, to provide us with intelligence and actions and, you know, decisions that will make this country successful. And hence, in turn, you have Donald Trump. And the left hates that because Trump is showing you how completely terrible the Democratic Party is. That's why the left hates him. That's why they can't. It has very little to do with him personally because they all got along with him before he was president. They all liked his money. They all wanted his support. This is nothing personal. He's just showing the public who they truly are. And when we start looking at that, that's the deal. I think that's why the Democratic left hates Trump. I don't think it has anything to do with policy. It has all to do with them. And they can't have you know who they are. And now we're seeing it. We're seeing it in article after article after article after article after article. It's amazing to watch the left go after themselves. But I'll tell you what's more amazing is the disconnect we are currently seeing in politics. I told you the other day. It's amazing to watch the crowds that show up at a Trump rally. The mainstream media continuously tells you that Trump has no following, that people are unhappy, that his policies have caused you strife, that you're upset, that you're going to leave him. And that's their strategy. That's their strategy. They want you to leave Trump. They want you to be mad at Trump. That is the mainstream media strategy. And they have clung to that. They have the Russian collusion. They wanted Trump marched out of the White House in handcuffs, the family arrested. All of that stuff was to get you, the Trump voter, to give up on him. That's the only way they can beat him, is if you turn on him, which is not going to happen. You know, that's the problem that the left has. But in the end, the narrative is from the left that you're unhappy. Here's the funny thing, though. CNN. Bombing. Bombing. Fox News dominated basic cable for the month of April, beating news, sports, and entertainment networks in total day and primetime viewers, while rival news channel CNN continued to slide. Now, I'm going to say something here. We're working on some stuff on the video and television side. Fox is getting really bad. Hell, even Fox isn't conservative anymore. And they are still whipping ass. Wouldn't it be nice to have a competitor to Fox who would actually bring you conservative news? Do you know how well that would do? Because I want you to think about this. According to Nielsen, Fox garnered 2.4 million viewers in primetime and finished first among all basic cable stations for the third month in a row, and a 1.4 million viewers in total day to top basic cable for the 34th consecutive month. Wow. For the 208th month in a row, Fox also beat left-leaning CNN and MSLSD across both categories, while CNN marked its lowest rated month in total day viewers since October of 15 and since August 15 in the key demographic of viewers ages 25 to 54. Let me put this in layman's terms. CNN sucks. People are finished. They don't believe it. They're not watching. If you took CNN out of the airports, their viewership might drop in another half. This country is not center-left. It's not. Not at all. It's center-right in every way, shape, and form. And we watch the left try to tell you and I that Joe Biden, in a hypothetical poll, is going to beat Donald Trump by 8 points. That is crap. You can't believe a word that comes out of the mainstream media's mouth anymore. You can't. And don't get me wrong, guys. Fox News is just as bad. It's on both sides. Fox is getting very progressive. They're getting very liberal. I mean, it's hard to be fair and balanced. Let's just say it. I'm biased. I have a conservative bias. So every slant that I have is for freedom, is for liberty, is for self-responsibility. So yes, I'm biased toward the left. I'm biased toward the Democratic message, and I'm very biased toward their narrative. It's amazing to watch this, but I wanted to draw this picture for you this hour because the economy is doing really well. You're doing really well. Your wages are doing well. People are being hired. You're paying less taxes. You're saving money. Your personal economy has been affected. And it's a good thing. That is a great thing. And so as we watch the left, as we watch this kangaroo court that is Capitol Hill, as we watch Attorney General William Barr have to say, well, I followed the law. Mueller used 22 months and $35 million of taxpayer money and got nowhere. You know, as we watch all this stuff, you really have to pay attention to what's really going on. 275,000 new jobs created. Manufacturing is booming. Blue collar is booming. Families are booming. This is why the Democratic Party is upset. They're pissed. But you know what's great? You know what you can do? You have a cell phone, right? You call your wife, your kids, your parents, your friends, your family. Why don't you head over to patriotmobile.com? patriotmobile.com/mojo50 is a fantastic conservative company. Give you great customer service. Give you a great cell phone plan starting at $25 a month. Unlimited data, text, calling. But what they do that these other companies don't, the big cellular companies, they give part of your money to conservative causes. Go look and see who Verizon or AT&T give their money to. I'm pretty sure Planned Parenthood's on the list. I'm pretty sure that the Chamber of Commerce people are on the list. Open borders, your gun grabbers, your Second Amendment folks. I bet they're on the list. You can make a difference. Head over to patriotmobile.com/mojo50. Or if you don't want to get on the interwebs, you can call them 1-800-A-PATRIOT. 1-800-A-PATRIOT. You tell them that the Conservative Cartel sent you, Mojo 50 Radio sent you, they will waive your activation fee. They can buy you out of your current contract. Didn't know if you knew that. I mean, if you're looking to switch, vote with your dollars. And go talk to a great American company here in the state of Texas. They're right down the road. They're in South Lake, which is just a little ways from us. But they're great people. Veteran-owned, operated, ran. They're fantastic. They give a little bit of your money to the causes that you believe in. Head over to patriotmobile.com/mojo50 or 1-800-A-PATRIOT. Do it now. Vote with your dollars. Stop giving your money to people who don't agree with you. And surely don't watch CNN, because no one else is either. All right, guys, hour 2 in the books. Hour 3 upon us. We're going to get to some hodgepodge stuff. I've got some off-the-wall articles. I've got some tech stuff that I want to get to. And I have an article from Big League Politics. Our good friend Patrick Hawley, editor-in-chief over at Big League Politics, sent me an article about 3 days ago, and he's like, you're never going to believe this. I'm like, I can believe anything today. We're going to get to that and much more. One more hour of the Conservative Cartel this hump day. Strap in. Make sure you're prepared. Go get you some more APR coffee. Whatever you need to do. I'm going to be back right after this. Going to take a quick break. Stick around.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. Mojo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. On Capitol Hill, Attorney General William Barr says Robert Mueller told him his decision not to conclude whether President Trump obstructed justice had nothing to do with an Office of Legal Counsel opinion that a sitting president cannot be indicted.
He said that in the future, the facts of a case against the president might be such that a special counsel would recommend abandoning the OLC opinion, but this is not such a case.
Barr says he was surprised that special counsel Mueller did not make a decision on obstruction of justice.
I'm not really sure of his reasoning.
Barr is testifying before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Tomorrow, he'll be going before the House. As the unrest continues in Venezuela, White House National Security Advisor John Bolton says dictator Nicolas Maduro is losing support from his country's military leaders.
We don't know how events will play out over the next days, but nobody should think that there's any reflection here that, the people in the military of Venezuela are very happy with Nicolas Maduro's regime. They are absolutely not. They're more unhappy with it today than they were yesterday.
Bolton was interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. GOP Senator Rick Scott of Florida tells the Salem Radio Network he remains hopeful that a peaceful transition of power can occur.
Hopefully, as more people go to the streets, more military will get behind Juan Guaido, and Maduro will come to his senses.
The demonstrations against Maduro are continuing. Also at townhall.com, American and Chinese negotiators have begun more trade talks. They're aimed at ending a tariff war. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin said U.S. officials might be moving toward a decision on whether to make a deal with Beijing. On Wall Street, stocks are mixed. The Dow is ahead 39 points. The Nasdaq up 25. The S&P is up 1. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Having an extra supply of food on hand is just smart. Some people call it prepping. I call it smart. You never know what's going to happen in this world. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. You'll find out a lot of good reasons to have that food and some great prices. mypatriotsupply.com.
A former Democratic National Committee member told Politico on Monday that he will become national senior advisor to the Draft Beto campaign. That sounds like a horrible beer, probably a Pilsner.
The Defenders with Stephen Airy, tonight at 9.
Mojo 50.
Dr. Ken Brown here, host of Gut Check Project with my co-host Eric Rieger. Eric, we've been seeing Mojo guys over there and over here at Spoonie talk about Atrantil for bloating. I've seen in my practice that Atrantil is a whole lot more than just a bloating product.
Yes, it does a whole lot more than just fix bloating because of the polyphenols that you find in Atrantil.
You're exactly right. The polyphenols are those molecules that we find in the Mediterranean diet. It makes vegetables and fruits very colorful. What are some of the things that these polyphenols do, Eric?
These polyphenols can actually stop inflammation. They can help you have more energy. They can help you with anti-aging. And polyphenols are great for athletes.
It sounds like it's going to help a whole lot more people than just bloating. Tell me how everybody should be taking Atrantil.
If you want to dose Atrantil, it's 2 capsules 3 times a day, basically with your meals. But if you aren't bloated and you just want that polyphenol intake every day, 2 to 3 capsules a day will work for you.
Go to lovemytummy.com/mojo.
We're kind of like Grindr for Mojo Sexuals. Mojo 50.
You're entering the marketplace of liberty. The Conservative Cartel starts right now. And now, here's your host, Matt Locke.
All right, hour 3 of the Conservative Cartel. We've made it this far on a hump day. Woohoo! Coming to you live from the Mojo 50 Freedom Dojo. Giving you the news, whether you like it or not. Giving you the truth as I see fit. Because that's how we roll. Head over to @thecartel Matt on Twitter. You can hashtag me. We are Cartel. I'm over at Instagram at the same handle. Facebook, Mojo 50 Radio. And of course, the Conservative Cartel. Over on MeWe, Matt Locke. And we're at mojo50.com. That's mojo50.com. You can go get swag. You can visit our shop. You can see the schedule. You can listen. You can watch. It is multi-purpose. Tell everybody you know to get over to mojo50.com. Of course, you can hear us on iHeart Radio. We're streaming live 24/7 on iHeart, on the Mojo and the Spoonie platforms. So check those out. We're on Spreaker, iTunes. We're everywhere. Just go to mojo50.com, mojo50.com, and you will see where you can find us. Podcast Republic. We are Stitcher. We're everywhere. If you can't find us, you're not looking. I was listening to that Atrantil ad, and this segment brought to you by Atrantil. It's the only one I got left. lovemytummy.com/mojo. Bloating. Don't feel good. Need some polyphenols. That sounds pretty cool. Eric said polyphenols are good for athletes. Maybe I should start taking it. I'm going to start Atrantil right after MojoCon 2019, which starts tomorrow. So I'm going to start taking that as soon as I'm done drinking to excess. Pretty sure that's going to happen once or twice in the next couple days. But head over to Atrantil, lovemytummy.com/mojo. It's the world's first ever over-the-counter proven solution for bloating. Developed by a board-certified gastroenterologist. We call him the Ass Man, Dr. Ken. 100% natural polyphenols designed to address bloating problems where they begin. In your belly, intestines, your colon, where, we're eating all this. I say this all the time, but it's true. We're eating foods that are all processed. They've got additives, chemicals, hormones to make them taste better. And what that does, it messes with your belly. It messes with your digestive system, so you're not healthy. You don't feel good. You feel bloated. Maybe you got some gas, but not cow flatulence. No cow flatulence. AOC wants to get rid of that. Cow farts, But you can You can take care of that. Head over to Atrantil, lovemytummy.com/mojo. That stuff acts as a gut regulator. It will take care of you. Lovemytummy.com/mojo. If you use the code mojo, you will get a 3-month supply for $99. $99. 3-month supply. Save $20. Same as downtown. Lovemytummy.com/mojo. Use mojo as a code. Do it now. Atrantil. Lovemytummy.com/mojo. Okay, hour 3. I have an article here that I found very odd. And written, what's today? It's okay. It was written 5 days ago. Editor-in-chief of Big League Politics, Patrick Hawley, who I've had on this program several times, smart guy, wrote this article. Here is the headline. Exclusive. University of North Texas holds lesson, this is a college, university, on sexual pleasure and response in infants. Let me read that to you again. University of North Texas, here in the great state of Texas, holds lesson, college course, on sexual pleasure and response in infants, babies. The University of North Texas hosted a lesson called Sexual Pleasure and Response in Infants, according to the following photograph provided by a campus tipster. We also have obtained documents from the course, Psychology and Sexual Behavior, taught by Terry E. Davis, which include presentations on sexuality during childhood and adolescence. The lesson was hosted by the University Psychology Department. A class worksheet below identifies the 8 and 9-year-old age range as when children might ask about the terms gay and blowjob. Now, I want to ask a question out there. All of you ladies, did you know what a blowjob was at 8 or 9? Seriously. As children, I was 8, I was 9 at one time. I couldn't have told you what that was at 8 or 9 years of age. 8 years old, you're in the first grade, maybe the second. Did you know what a blowjob was in the first grade? Come on. I mean, this is the garbage the left is foisting upon us. So I'm asking you out there, ladies, 8, 9 years old? I'd like to hear your answer over there on Twitter at the Cartel Matt, hashtag We Are Cartel, over at MeWe. When asked for comment, teacher Terry Davis provided Big League Politics with the lesson plan, confirming that the class did indeed exist. So here's what they have. I've got the syllabus here in front of me. I want to read it here if I can. It's small. It's instructor Terry E. Davis, office TH342. Office hours by appointment. She's got her email up there. Course overview. This course will explore the impact of psychological factors on the development and expression of human sexuality. Sounds good so far, right? This thing is tiny. I got to bring it up here so I can read it. This course is designed to foster and maintain a positive learning experience. Your attention is expected during lectures and presentations. Thus, headphones and other distractors should be put up. Laptops should be used for note-taking only, and cell phones should be turned off and put away during class. Remember, your unrelated activities will distract other students as well. Likewise, your active participation during discussions will be encouraged, and questions or comments at any time during lectures are welcome. So she has a syllabus here. It does every day. Sexuality during childhood, presentation. Sexuality during childhood, presentation. Sexuality during childhood, sexuality in adult years. Sexuality in adult years. Sexual differences with solutions. That's 4 different weeks. Sexual coercion, 3 different weeks. Sex for sale, 3 different weeks. And then you have a pre-finals week. So that's a normal syllabus. You see those in college all the time. Here are some more classroom materials. He says, source and review an article of your choosing on parent-child play and the implications of children's gender role development and gender role legacy. Then answer the following prompts as part of your response. Here are the questions. What is gender role legacy and what does it matter? How has the gender role legacy impacted your life? To what extent do you agree with this legacy? What is gender, a man, woman? This task is designed to familiarize you with research available on the internet in the field of human sexuality. Be sure to reference your article in the assignment post with a direct link or a copy attached. Okay, so here's a handout from this class. Questions for behavioral research. Here is what is crazy. Here is what drives me absolutely bonkers. Okay? Listen to this. Handout 12.2, childhood sexuality. 2 to 4 years old. 2 to 4 years old. Where do babies come from? Oh, okay. Do girls have a penis? Or why don't they? Why is that lady's tummy so big? Okay. How did the baby get inside mommy? Okay. How do babies get out of the mother? Can I have a baby? Do you have to be married to have a 2 to 4 year old married? They know about the constructs of marriage? Why is daddy's penis so much bigger than mine? These are not questions that 2-year-olds ask. Come on. You're 2. Does anybody remember being 2? I don't. 5 to 6 years old. Why do you have hair there? Hair where? I mean, are these parents walking around nude, naked all the time? Hair where? What are breasts for? Why does my penis get hard sometimes? Come on. You're not getting a boner at 5. You're not getting a boner. Seriously. What does the F word mean? Why do you make noise in the bedroom? Ever walked in and your parents having sex? I did. One time. Scarred me for life. I know they did it at least 4 times. But yeah, nasty. 6-year-old catches her mother changing a tampon or pad. What happened to you? These are all questions that are covered in this class. 8 to 9. Did you and dad do that too, to have babies? Why do people have sex if they don't want any more babies? 8, 9-year-olds are asking about sex. What does gay mean? What is a blowjob? And then adolescents. Do you think it's okay to have sex if you're not married? Refers to one of the girls at school as a slut. How would you respond as a parent? My boyfriend wants to have sex. How would you respond as a parent? Your 13-year-old son has a girlfriend and you think he may become sexually active. What topics would you bring up with him? Now that would be appropriate. At 13 years old, you're going through puberty or close or after or right around. So that would be appropriate topic. Or can I get birth control? This is going on in a university in Texas. 2 to 4 years old. Oh, Zig the Gator says, let someone teach my daughter what a blowjob is at 8. Yeah, exactly. 8-year-old girls do not know what a Hummer is. They don't. You can't tell me they do. I was 8 years old. I remember being 8. I was in the 2nd grade. Cut my finger off when I was 8 years old. It was one of those weird years for me. You know, I wasn't getting a boner at 5. It's just so ridiculous. But this is the stuff that is circulating around our schools. This is the stuff that's They call these higher educations of learning. Now, I took a psychology and sexuality class in college. One of the easiest classes I've ever taken. Not that I'm a sex god or anything, but it was interesting. I mean, sex is interesting. Sex is something that, you know, we can all talk about. It's something that's done for procreation and pleasure. We're all adults, but when you're talking about sexual responses in infants, come on. This is the left. This is the same left that tells you that your 6-year-old can take hormones because she feels like a he. Or that your 13-year-old can get an abortion without your permission. That's the same left. So thank you, Patrick Holly, for that article. I found that quite interesting. And it leads into this other article that I was looking to talk about. New York City. We'll go to the Democratic capital of the world. According to the most recent abortion data available for 2015 from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, and published by the New York Police Department and the Federal Bureau of Investigation, the number of abortions at or after 21 weeks was 1,485 babies, while the number of homicide victims was 300 52. Headline: New York babies aborted after 21 weeks outnumber homicides that happen in New York City. I want you to think about that for a second. 21 weeks. That baby has been in that mother's womb for almost 6 months. Crazy. 21 weeks. Or after. That baby is viable. It's got a heartbeat. It is a human being. But yet we are aborting babies in New York City at a higher rate than homicides. That should make you sick. A report at cnsnews.com observed the data showed about 0.96 people per day had been victims of murder and non-negligent manslaughter in 2015 in New York City, while 4.1 babies at the gestational age of 21 weeks or older were aborted per day. Now, given the data, the report calls out the New York Times for its reference to the abortions at 21 weeks or later as rare or very rare. That's not rare. Happens more than the homicides. That is not rare. Rare is hardly happens. This happens 4 times a damn day. On Sunday, the New York Times defended Democrats who have failed to support this Born Alive legislation that would protect babies who survive abortions from infanticide. You know, it's bad enough the mother goes in to get an abortion, it's botched, the baby survives, and then you kill it. And yet, you can't get a Democrat to protect the life of an innocent child. Because that's what they are. They're children. They're not fetuses. They're not embryos. They're 21 weeks old or older. It's not rare. It's not very rare. It's very sad. It's demonic. The New York Times claimed President Donald Trump condemnation of Democrats as the party of late-term abortion and infanticide was inaccurate and incendiary. Nope, both adjectives are completely correct. The debate comes in the wake of the enactment of the New York's Reproductive Health Act, which Democrat Governor Andrew Cuomo signed into law in January, for which he afterwards got hammered with criticism. Live Action took to Twitter and they said, you know, convicted criminals aren't subjected to the death penalty in New York, but now children up until the 9th month of pregnancy can be given lethal injections and poisoned to death. So, you know, all the people out there that don't believe in corporal or capital punishment, but you can kill a baby in the womb. So Cuomo had to defend himself. He says, I am a former altar boy. He says, he also says that, look, I'm okay with this. I don't see anything wrong with this. This is women's reproductive health. It's not reproductive health. That is a baby. That is a human being growing in a woman's body. And how amazing is that? I mean, how amazing is that? Amazing. And you know, I'm not a woman. Nah, I'm a man. Got a penis. I can't carry a baby. I can't have a child. What an amazing gift to be able to recreate life. I mean, I know it takes two to tango. You know, we know the birds and the bees here. But to sit here and to argue that this is reproductive is ridiculous. It's a lie. It's a fabrication. Abby Schmidt says, I have a 2.5-year-old, and I'm lucky to get him to say anything other than garbage truck. Yeah, and he probably doesn't have a boner either. Ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. But the Knights of Columbus, they came out and they said, we're trying to legally protect the unborn. According to the survey sponsored by Knights of Columbus, 75% of New Yorkers oppose abortion after the 5th month of pregnancy, which is 21 weeks, is more than 5 months. Just quickly for those of you who can't do math. So 75% of New Yorkers oppose abortion after the 5th month, which means 25% are morons. That's just crazy. We'll just kill the baby. It's unfathomable. Now, including 69% of Democrats and 73% of independents and 89% of Republicans. While most New Yorkers, 60%, identify as pro-choice as opposed to pro-life, 34%, the poll found a majority of New Yorkers would actually limit abortion to, at the most, the first 3 months of pregnancy. I believe abortion's wrong in any time. I've said this before and I'll say it again. I can make the logical argument of the morning after pill because all the morning after pill does not allow the egg to attach to the uterus, so it is flushed just like it would be a normal menstrual cycle for a woman. I don't like it. But once again, I tell people this all the time. The libertarian in me follows the law. We are a land of laws. And right now, it's a crappy law, but abortion is the law. You can abort your child. It's crazy. You can murder your own child, but it is the law. So my libertarian side of me says I cannot interfere with women who have abortions because it's legal. It's grotesque. It's awful. And it's illegal. Well, it's still legal. So I would like to see abortion be outlawed, period. And then, of course, the left gives you, there'll be people getting abortions in the alley with coat hangers. Yeah, there may be. Just like there'll be junkies shooting up heroin in the alley, too. Drugs are still illegal. We shouldn't legalize drugs so that junkies can shoot up wherever they want. People are still going to do dumb things. They're still going to do illegal things. They're still going to try to kill their babies. Just because they do it in an alley with a coat hanger, I can't help that. Sad. But the reality is it would stop killing many, 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 many babies. And you have choices in life. You don't have to have sex. There's birth control. I know it's not 100% effective, but it's pretty close. There are things you can do to keep from getting pregnant. Now, quote, I want to finish this article up because I'm going to finish this hour up and run out of time, or this segment up and run out of time. New Yorkers simply do not support laws that allow late-term abortion, said Carl Anderson, CEO of the Knights of Columbus. He says, it is now clear that these radical policies are being pursued despite opposition by the majority of New Yorkers and by a majority of those who identify as Democrats, Republicans, and independents. According to the poll, 63% of New Yorkers also say abortion should be generally illegal in the last trimester of pregnancy, while 32% say it should be generally legal. This outcome includes 53% of Democrats, 65% of independents, and 84% of Republicans. In February, a Siena College poll found Cuomo's approval rating plummeted by 8 percentage points in the month following the signing of the Reproductive Health Act into law. You're killing a baby. I don't know how else you can say it. You're killing a baby. You're killing a human being. You're killing your offspring. There's no other way to say it. Shouldn't be legal. Should be illegal. We should always stand on the side of the innocent. You should always stand on the side of life. I don't know how that's so hard. I don't know why the left cannot stand for life. And none of them want to vote on this thing. None of them want to be on record. But it is amazing that we are a culture as sophisticated as we are, as intelligent as we are, as amazing as we are, that we still kill our offspring. I find it hard to fathom. It literally is mind-boggling that we as a society, as an intelligent being, kill our offspring. And you know what we say? Well, it's just a clump of cells. It's just women's reproduction. You cannot take away a woman's ability to take care of herself. Then don't have sex. Don't have sex. Then you won't have a baby. I was reading an article last night about millennials who are not having sex because they're risk adverse. They don't want the risk. There you go. It's exactly what it is. Sex is a risk. You're at risk of disease. You're at risk of pregnancy. There are ways that you can combat that, be it prophylactics, be it birth control, be it vasectomy or whatever the surgical procedure is for women to get their fallopian tubes disconnected. There are ways not to get pregnant and have sex. It's amazing. But, you know, when or if you become pregnant, that is another human being growing in your body. It's not your body anymore. That is a different body within your body. It is murder. It is wrong. You are killing your child. It should never be allowed. It's crazy. The Democrats will not go on record to stand against it. All right, got one more segment here. We're going to run to tech, because I've talked about Facebook. I've talked about how they censor us. But YouTube, Google, and now Instagram, all censoring conservative views. Stick around.
Everyone's favorite socialist Bernie Sanders was at it again early this week. The multimillionaire senator from Vermont took aim at Disney CEO Bob Iger, tweeting the following: "What would be truly heroic is if Disney used its profits from Avengers to pay all of its workers a middle-class wage instead of paying its CEO Bob Iger $65.6 million, over 1,400 times as much as the average worker at Disney makes." One of Sanders' favorite other talking points is a claim about those working full-time going hungry. Well, Sanders should be happy to know that just 3.1% of those working full-time earn below the poverty line. And if you can't feed yourself on a 40-an-hour-a-week job, I'm seriously questioning your eating habits and your willingness to improve your skill set to get a better job. Furthermore, I want you to think of this nugget from Alex Edmonds, a finance professor from the London School of Business. The average size of a Fortune 500 company today is $20 billion. Thus, even if a CEO contributes only 1% more to firm value than the next best alternative, this contribution is worth $200 million, much higher than the $10 million average salary. So in other words, if you tie compensation to value added, most CEOs are grossly underpaid. You don't believe that should be the standard for how someone gets paid? Well, then why does Sanders tie the hourly worker to the CEO salary? It's what happens when you try to twist yourself into the knot of a moral economy. Just think of this. Sanders stated in 1971 that any senator that was a millionaire only represented the interest of fellow millionaires. Is that what we're now to believe about Sanders? Such is the problem when you try to make moral judgments about people based on their wealth alone. Being wealthy is neither inherently good or bad, but in the case of Bernie Sanders, it is inherently hypocritical. I'm Andrew Coppins, and this has been By the Numbers. You can follow me on all the socials at The Coppins Show.
By the Numbers with Andrew Coppins is powered by TarRiverArms.com. They've revolutionized online firearm sales with high-resolution pictures, 3D imaging, and the best prices. How much will you save? Find out at TarRiverArms.com. That's TarRiverArms.com.
You're listening to the Conservative Cartel with Matt Locke.
Well, we've made it to the final segment of today's program, Hump Day Wednesday, the Conservative Cartel. So glad you're along for the ride as I come to you live from the Mojo 50 Freedom Dojo, alongside of the beautiful Mojo River in Fort Worth, Texas. MojoCon 2019 is just about ready to kick off. That starts tomorrow. So for all of you jackholes and Jill holes, travel safely, please. We look forward to seeing you here at the Cuddle Me Buff, Mojo and Spoonie Studios. We're starting to set up some tables. We've got some stuff getting ready to set up downstairs. We're looking forward to MojoCon. So be careful, be safe in your travels today. I'm seeing pictures all over social media. It's fantastic. If you want to find me, you can go over to Twitter. I'm at the Cartel Matt. It's also my Instagram handle. So you can find me at either of those two places. Find me on Facebook, the Conservative Cartel, or Mojo 50 Facebook pages. I'm over on MeWe, Matt Locke. You can find me there. And then, of course, mojo50.com, mojo50.com. You can find the video. You can find the shop. You can find the chat. You can find anything you want. But I want to talk about social media. Not our friend. Not our friend. So I've been holding these articles over for the last, week or so. I just didn't have the right time to get into it, and today is. So we're going to jump into this headline. YouTube and Google pour millions into news publishers. I want you to think about what they're doing. These news publishers are the New York Slimes, the Washington Compost, CNN, Vox, Axios, place like that. It's no secret that as technology continues to grow, the impact of technology is felt in every industry, especially ours. I mean, when you're in radio, you need reach. You need people to listen. You need to reach ears, eyes. You need an audience so that you can go to advertisers and advertise their products, and they'll pay you for it. And thank you, by the way, for all of you who frequent our advertisers, who spend money with them, because without you, they wouldn't advertise with us. But Google feels like journalism is struggling to keep up with the ever-growing technology industry and feels the need to help publishers keep up with those changes. As Google puts it, while the demand for quality journalism is as high as it's ever been, because there's no quality journalism, the business of journalism is under pressure as the publications around the world face challenges from an industry-wide transition to digital. No, here's what's happening. Let me put this to you in layman's terms. You guys were talking about this over on MeWe a little bit ago. The big journalism companies, the MSLSDs, the CNNs, the New York Slimes, these big outlets, they're not journalism. They're propaganda. They're not telling you the truth. So when you go and read articles that they publish, when you go listen to news stories that they have on air, you sit there and you think to yourself, I do this all the time, drives me nuts. Is any of that true? Is some of it true? Is all of it true? And what you have to start at, I was watching an interview the other day. Mark Levin, he does that show on Fox News. And he had Sarah Carter and John Solomon on. John Solomon is, I believe, the editor-in-chief over at The Hill. And Sarah Carter does her own website, sarahacarter.com. But they're investigative journalists. And you don't hear much of that anymore. But it was fantastic because I was listening to this interview. And the first thing Sarah Carter said, first thing out of her mouth, she says, there is always a motive to every piece of information we are given. She's not wrong. Every story that the mainstream media or a source or a publisher or an outlet gives you, there is a motive behind it. There is a narrative. Another word is narrative. There is a motive or a narrative they are trying to push, and she says every time we have to find out what the motive is. That, my friends, is called journalism. You have to search for the facts. The who, the what, the where, the why, the when. Those things, those questions you have to ask yourself. And in today's journalism, those questions aren't being asked. They're writing articles that are supposed to sway you, that are supposed to influence you. They have to. And they write articles now. The really sad part of all this is they need clicks. They need what's called click-throughs, because all of these writers, all of these outlets, all of these websites get paid per click. So they need sensational headlines. They need these outrageous news stories that will make you click on the story. That's all they care. And it's amazing because I have a journalism degree. I was a sports writer right out of college. I thought if I couldn't play sports, I'd want to write about it. And I remember I would write my articles, and these are about sports, mind you. Women's volleyball, softball, men's basketball, football, wrestling, gymnastics, tennis, whatever. But I always wrote the stories. I never wrote the headlines. The editor always did that. I would turn my stories over to the editor. He would edit them. He would email me any questions he had on the story if it didn't make sense, which happened every now and again. And then what he would do, he's an older guy, great editor, by the way, very, very good friend of mine from a long time ago. He would put a headline on that would catch your attention. Because in today's society, the really sad thing is we're a microwave society. We want it now. We want it instantly. We want it now. And so what happens is the headline catches your attention. It has to. And people today, if you think about it, I want you to think about this for a second. As you flip through your news sources. So I've told you on the show before, I use a lot of different sources. Fox News, CNN, Breitbart, Drudge, Axios, Vox, Mother Jones, Salon. I use Big League Politics. I use Conservative Treehouse. I use the Washington Free Beacon, Wall Street Journal. I can go on and on and on. I use Flipboard, which gives me all kinds of different stuff, the Times, the Slimes, the Compost. I mean, you can go on and on and on. I like to use local stuff, national stuff, all that kind of stuff. But every time, think about where you search for your news. What's the first thing you look at? The headline. First thing I look at. Does it catch my attention? If it doesn't catch my attention, I just roll over it. Go on. And that's what most of America does. They see a headline, they go, oh my God. Sheriff sleeping with 3 aliens and had a baby. You know, that's the kind of stuff you see, you know, the National Enquirer. There you go. Rough Roads hit on it just as I said it. You know, that's what National Enquirer does. You're in line, you know, checking out for your groceries, and you read the headlines. They're shocking. They're sensational. They need you to look. But it's always amazing to me because I read every article that I talk about on this program. I read it front to back. I make sure I know it. I make sure I know what's in it. And then I start drawing my conclusions. I start putting my intelligence to work. Because normally, I can tell you, it's amazing when you are reading an article, how different the article is from the headline. I mean, 99% of the time, the headline has very little to do with the article. It just does. So after reading through the article, reading what they say, then I can start formulating my opinions, and I can start asking those questions that I ask of every article. What's true? What's not true? What do I know? And, man, those aliens get around, Rocky says. Yes, they do. I've never seen one. So in the end, you know, YouTube, so what they're doing, and why I wanted to bring this article to you, is because YouTube wants to promote publishers. And a publisher is us. Mojo 50 Radio is a publisher. You can go to the Mojo 50 Radio Facebook page. You can go to our YouTube channel. You can go to our Twitter handle. We are a publisher. We publish news. We publish opinion. So what YouTube is trying to do, and this was a long tangent on this, but what's happening is propaganda media is starting to be shown to be unreliable. What's happening is places like us, places like Big League Politics, these independent news sources, we're starting to turn into the news. We're independent. We're not propagandist. We're not shooting you a bias. Well, I shouldn't say a bias. We're not giving you, we're giving you the news, the facts. You decide how you feel about it. I'm not telling you something that isn't true. So what's happening here, YouTube is seeing this. They're seeing that CNN, I talked about this in hour number 2. CNN's numbers are garbage. Nobody watches. Why? Because they can't trust it. I mean, that's really what it boils down to. When you're not going to watch an outlet, it's because you don't trust it. And I said this before, it's so amazing. Go to any airport in this country and CNN's on the TV. If it weren't for the airports in this country, CNN's ratings probably be half as much as they were. But when you don't trust an outlet, you don't use it, you don't trust it, you don't use the information, you don't believe it, and you go somewhere else. So YouTube, Google, they're going to pour millions into this Google News initiative. The goal of the initiative is to build a more informed world that is inherently tied to the reporting of journalists and news organizations. Sounds very good, doesn't it? Problem is, it's going to be tied to news organizations like CNN. The tech giant plans on accomplishing this by building a healthy ecosystem of publishers producing great digital content. That's crap. Those partnerships include the New York Slimes and the Washington Compost. Additionally, part of the initiative was to pour tens of millions of dollars into helping publishers strengthen their online video capabilities through Google News Initiatives, YouTube's innovative funding. On its blog, YouTube says that the funding was released to publishers to support news organizations in building sustainable video operations by helping them build new key capabilities, train staff on video best practices, enhance production facilities, and develop formats optimized by online video. Yeah, getting crazy here. Here are the list of publishers. In the list of news publishers from the United States that receive funding from YouTube, I want you to listen to who these people are. You got The Atlantic, Democrat. Bloomberg, Democrat. BuzzFeed, Democrat. CBS News, Democrat. 538, Nate Silver, Democrat. The Hill, that's John Solomon's. It's halfway moderate to middle. NBC News, Democrat. The New York Slimes, Democrat. PBS NewsHour, Democrat. WETA, Democrat. ProPublica, Democrat. Vox, Democrat. The Washington Post, Democrat. And the Young Turks, Democrat. Fox News was the only news organization on the list that could be considered a center-right publication. Additionally, there were other news groups not listed that could be considered left-leaning, including Advanced Local, Graham Media Group, Telemundo, Rogue Rocket, Quartz, Refinery 29, and Tribune Broadcasting. So Google is giving millions of dollars to left-leaning publishers. Sounds like a healthy environment, doesn't it? For the propaganda the left spews. But that's the problem you run into. Who gets to determine? You know, who gets to determine who's worthy of what? Who gets to determine who's what, where, and how? Who gets to say who gets on that list and gets the money? Well, it's Google. And we all know Alphabet is liberal. They're not going to give money to people like you and I. We should ask Google if they'll give us $1 million, Ron. I don't know if we want an investor in Google. I don't know if that's what we'd want. Because I can tell you that they don't think the way you and I think. They don't like what you and I talk about. They don't like the fact that the Conservative Cartel comes here 5 days a week and gives you the truth. No matter what it is. If I like it or not. See, that's news to me. That's hard news to me. I'm going to give you the facts. I'm going to give you the truth. I'm going to give you the story, whether I like it or not. Because facts are facts. Stories, are supposed to be written who, what, when, where, why, and how, not how you feel. It's not about feelings. And I was talking about the, getting rid of Columbus Day for Indigenous Peoples Day. See, the left wants to rewrite history. In this newspeak, go read 1984. I mean, if you have not read 1984, you should. It's amazing. We are literally watching history being rewritten in front of our eyes. Rewritten. Because the left doesn't like it. They don't agree with it. It doesn't fit their narrative. So what is the left doing? They're using social media. They're using Google. They're using YouTube. YouTube's the number 2 search engine in the world behind Google? I mean, did you know that? YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. Hell, I went to YouTube twice last night. I don't know if I should say this on the air, but I have an Amazon Fire Stick, and we watch a lot of our TV through Kodi, which is a scraper. It's a player. It scrapes streams, and we can watch different That's how we watch Game of Thrones. And I updated my Kodi to the newest player, and it somehow screwed with my URLs, and it wouldn't pull any streams in. So I had to go to YouTube to figure out how to update my URL deal. And I did. I mean, YouTube's fantastic for things like that. I mean, you can make all kinds of things with duct tape and MacGyver type and all kinds of stuff. But YouTube is the number 2 search engine in the world. They control the information you get. I can tell you another story. We had a couple of young men come to this studio. Oh, goodness, it was probably now about a year ago. They played video games, and they were on YouTube. Roblox, I think, was the name of the game. Young men, 18, 19 years old. But they come up here, and they were looking for some space up here, and they were thinking about doing some stuff, and they were telling us about what they did, and they played their games on YouTube, and everybody tuned in and gave them money, and YouTube promoted them, and it was kumbaya. I mean, it was amazing to listen to them talk. Because he's like, oh, yeah, YouTube promotes us. They pay us. We get millions of views. It's so fantastic. And they looked at us and they said, boy, you got to do a better job on YouTube. And we're like, son, let me tell you a little bit about being a conservative on YouTube. You play video games. You get kids on the YouTube platform all day long. That's what they want. That's what YouTube wants. YouTube promoted them. YouTube literally went out of their way to promote these guys because these young men were making them millions of dollars. It's about money. Saddle Effing Tramp says, number 3 most popular search engine, Pornhub. Probably true. I think I saw the other day the top 50 websites, and there were 6 or 7 porn websites in that. Is it? Yeah, people still play Roblox, I think. I think that's what the name of the game was. But, the whole thing is YouTube promoted them because video games are video games. They're not political. That's information they can promote. And what does YouTube want? They want people on their site because then they can make more money from their advertisers. Or they get you to buy the premium, the YouTube Red, or they make money that way. So it's a business decision on the part of these tech companies. The problem is they're cutting you and I out. Now, I want to get to this other article here before I run out of time. Only about 7 minutes. Do any of you guys follow the cartoonist Ben Garrison? Any of you out there? You can go over. His website is grrgraphics.com. GRRR graphics.com. But Ben Garrison is a pro-Trump political cartoonist. I used to follow him all the time. I would pull his cartoons up all the time. I'd put them on Instagram. I'd put them up on Twitter. I'd put them up on Facebook. Well, Instagram on April 16th banned him. And they banned him because they claimed he posted hate speech and violated the platform's terms. Now, if you know anything about Ben Garrison, he doesn't speak. It's a picture. It's a cartoon. It's not hate speech. It's a cartoon. So Garrison discovered his ban when logging into the platform that day. He was greeted with a notification seeming to suggest the cartoonist posted something the platform considers hate speech. However, it is unclear what may have been offensive about his post. He says, quote, they said, quote, we removed your post because it doesn't follow our community guidelines on hate speech or symbols. The notification read, if you violate our guidelines again, your account may be restricted or disabled. When Harrison attempted to accept the notification and access his account, he received a second notification informing him, your account has been disabled for violating our terms. Now, Garrison took to Twitter, citing his ban as an example of tech censorship and bias. Hashtag who's next, wrote Garrison. Anyone who disagrees with hashtag Democrat narrative censorship ramp up for 2020 elections, he asked metaphorically or rhetorically. Garrison also used the hashtag stop the bias popularized by President Donald Trump. Now, Garrison joins a slew of conservatives who have been banned from the Facebook-owned platform. How many of you knew Instagram was owned by Facebook? I did. Most people don't. Most people don't realize that Instagram is owned by Facebook. And a funny thing I saw this morning, somebody said on Facebook that Facebook was starting to resemble Instagram. Yeah. So there was some new updates. I just updated my Facebook too. I hate it. I hate the new, and I very seldom go there. Like I said, I go there just for the live video portion of this program. But I don't like the way they've got Facebook set up anymore either. I will tell you, I spend most of my time at MeWe or Twitter. Facebook just, you can't play any music. They bounce our live video. It's garbage. It really is. But Garrison joins a slew of conservatives who have been banned from the Facebook-owned platform. British commentator and politician Tommy Robinson was banned last year during his legal hurdles, with former Proud Boys leader Gavin McInnes banned 2 months later. Last week, Canadian politician and journalist Faith Goldie gave an exclusive interview to Big League Politics after she was banned by Facebook and Instagram. Facebook, without any warning to me, she says, has informed Canada's state journalist that they considered me a dangerous individual. What a farce, she says. I'm a 29-year-old Canadian girl who loves my country and makes videos citing statistics from my kitchen table. If enemies of nationalism consider little old me to be a threat, it shows you how weak their arguments really are. Newsflash, ideas took countries and whole continents by storm long before Instagram models and Facebook likes were a thing. Goldie was banned from Instagram too, which is owned by Facebook. Last month, Facebook, the parent company of Instagram, was forced to apologize after it banned social media director for Trump, Dan Scavino. These people are not our friends. They're not our friends. And, you know, I'm sitting here talking about this article with Google and YouTube and wanting to do news sources and publishers and help get the information out there. This is nothing but government propaganda. We know Google's working with China to censor them because what is China? China's a socialistic country. We are running down that path headlong every day. I was listening to Chris Salcedo the other day, good friend of the program. He's on here on BAP in Dallas-Fort Worth. He was talking about Facebook. Our good friend Chris X down at KSEV used to be a co-host here of the Conservative Cartel. Same damn thing. Censorship, censorship, censorship. They want to censor our voices. That's it. We're at a point, you got to make a decision. You know, and I think Salcedo said it the other day. Would you pay? This is really the catch-22 of all this because we deal with Facebook a lot, and there's a lot of you on Facebook. And if you're listening today, it's kind of, you know, we're going to use Facebook until it's not free because it's free. And a lot of you stay on Facebook because it's free. Would you pay to be on another platform somewhere else? Because I know MeWe charges, I think, $2.99 a month, I think, to have a page. $36, well, $35.88. Well worth the investment. Because MeWe doesn't spam you. They don't sell your information. Don't do any of it. I get a lot of my information from MeWe now. I know Fox News has a MeWe page over there. Several, I know that I believe several Washington Post, Times, all of them have MeWe pages too. But would you pay? I mean, we are a society, it's so funny, and I want to get back to Facebook really quick. People are like, well, I would never pay. But yet Facebook steals your information and sells it. They steal your information and they sell it. So Facebook is not free. You know, you had to give them your email address and, you know, the cookies and everything you look at. And then they bombard you with advertisers because that's how they make their money. That's how they became a $1 billion company. I mean, there's over 1 billion users on Facebook. What a prime rich environment for advertisers. And I've told you the stories of our good friends who these companies were spending millions of dollars in Facebook ads a year, getting multi-million-dollar returns. Had one company spending $2 or $3 million a year, getting 15, 20 million back. And now today, they're lucky if it's a mill for a mill. They're lucky if they break even. And they only advertise on Facebook because of marketing. And it's a break-even proposition. And like the gun box. If you're a 2A, forget Facebook. If you don't agree with Big Brother, if you don't agree with the left, if you're anything for the Constitution or anything else, forget it. Facebook isn't going to run your ad. They're going to censor you. I've had ads for the Conservative Cartel censored on Facebook because we're the cartel. It's ridiculous. Trying to get more followers. Facebook, social media, these big tech giants, they're all liberals. And once you realize that, you head somewhere else. And that's where MeWe comes in. Find me, Matt Locke, on MeWe. Would love for you to do that. I'm over in the Mojo 50 radio chat group right now. At least you got freedom of speech. You may not like it. Just keep on scrolling. Because the great thing about MeWe, say whatever the hell you want. You don't have to look at it. And if you're offended by it, that's your fault. All right, guys, that's it for Wednesday, Hump Day. MojoCon 2019 kicks off tomorrow. Make sure you drive safely today, tomorrow, your travels, everything else. We look forward to seeing you. It's going to be crazy. I hope I make it out alive. I really do. I don't know what it's going to look like, but we'll see you here real soon. For Ron Phillips, I'm Matt Locke. For today, the cartel is out.